a little bit later than usual, but that still does not change the fact that it's Saturday. You know what that means. We're live. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm the one and only DJ Storms, and I would like to welcome each and every single one of you back here to the channel on YouTube.com. As of course, you already know who I am, Mr. Controversy, and the operator of the best damn Twitter handle, wait for it. Wait for it. To mankind. And this is the official Lightning Flash update for Saturday, October 2nd, 2021. And we are rocking and we are rolling, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for taking the time out of your day to join me here on YouTube. Let us check the chat. Kind of a small audience right now, considering that it has been a long day for me specifically, and of course a long wait for the individuals watching right now at home. For those of you who are unaware, I actually pushed back the Lightning Flash update due to family obligations. I was going apple picking with my family, and lo and behold, my sister got car sick, so we actually had to turn around. Then we went to the diner. I had a very nice pulled pork sandwich for lunch. It was absolutely delightful. Then we decided to go to a closer apple farm. They were completely out of fucking apples, so we had to turn around. We were going to go to the store to buy apples, and there was a line going out of the store. So needless to say that I had a crazy fucking day. Shit was going all over the place. I pretty much took a trip around the entire upper portion of fucking New Jersey. But I am back here. I am back here to fill my obligation to give you guys the best wrestling analytical takes and dissection possible in the IWC. So I greatly appreciate each and every single one of you taking the time out of your day to watch me, including Rob Wells Jr. We got Peanuts as well. We got Peanuts, and we also got DD, my number one mod. Rob Wells Jr. says, see you, apple bottom jeans. Oh my God, get out of here. Get out of here. DD saying that she actually made chicken Alfredo for lunch, and that was fantastic. We got Danielle Wolf. Danielle Wolf is in the chat. Thank you very much, Danielle Wolf, for coming on in the chat. And we also got Hologram. Here we go, my man Hologram. Hologram, I've been waiting for you. I know that he is actually very, very happy that DD decided to stop by. DD, I am not dabbing. Get that out of your system. I am not dabbing because I am here to dissect and analyze pro wrestling. So hopefully we get some more people as the day goes on. I know a lot of people are probably out and about hanging with others, considering that it is Saturday evening, of course. But we are going to dissect this week in wrestling. There is a lot of news, a lot of rumors to come out of professional wrestling as we speak. The entire week was crazy. It was packed with a hell of a lot of news, a hell of a lot of rumors. And we have got a shit ton of news and rumors to dissect. And, of course, we got 6 weekly shows to dissect as we are on the road toward Crown Jewel. And then we got Survivor Series and then TLC. So, before we get started here, like I said, a rather small audience, so hopefully we can change that as time goes on. For those of you who are unaware of the self-brand promotion and the advertisements, we're going to get through those right now. First things first, if you guys have not already done so, I'm going to need y'all to follow me on the Twitter sticks and Instagram, the Twitter sticks and the Instagram sticks at the DJ_Storms. That is both on Twitter and Instagram. Please go and follow me there. Add me on Facebook for collaborations and business inquiries. Please send me an email. My email is, of course, StormsTakeOver@gmail.com. Like the official DJ Storms business page, and I may just send you an invite to join the official DJ Storms posse group on Facebook. That is, of course, we got a new setup here with StreamYard, as you can see, and I'm really, really, really liking this setup. I think it's an excellent setup, and I think I'm going to use this going forward. Hopefully, I'll be able to use this going forward, considering that I am starting a new job. That is, of course, is going to be on Monday. In just 2 days, I'll be starting a new job. Hopefully, I'll be able to still do this on an occasion. I'm probably not going to be able to do it as often as I should because I got the 8:30 to 5 job now. Adulting. What else are you going to do? Can't stay at a part-time job forever. I know that. But I got this new setup here for StreamYard. It's working great so far. Hopefully, we don't have any more troubles going forward. It is looking great. I would like to thank each and every single one of you who stuck by me during the technical difficulties that we had over the last couple of weeks with OBS. I mean, I don't know what the fuck's going on with OBS. I think I'm just going to stick to recording as far as OBS goes. But as far as the live streaming goes, StreamYard is where it's at. I know my man Jay Alletto uses it. I know Top Rope Squishy uses it. Shout out to her. I know Earl Cole uses it. I'm pretty sure we'll see Earl Cole in the chat a little bit later on. But I hope you like the new setup. And yes, I can now highlight comments. I definitely have highlighted comments now, so that should work out pretty well. If you guys missed the rewind for WWE Extreme Rules 2021 with Mr. Jay Alletto, please go and check that out. The link is, of course, in the description. Me and him, we broke down everything that went down last Sunday on the Extreme Rules pay-per-view. Of course, it was a decent show overall, but at the end of the day, it was a completely meaningless show. The WWE product is just in complete shambles right now. Nobody gives a shit about it, and everything surrounding the WWE product, it's just a terrible fucking vibe. The overproduction, the terrible booking, and the just lack of care for the character development of some of these people like Bianca Belair or the Usos or Finn Balor or Damien Priest or the Street Profits, whoever it may be. Liv Morgan, the terrible booking of Liv Morgan and the constant flow of rematches with fucking Carmella. And trust me, we'll talk about the draft. I know, here we go. Rob Wells Jr. is already talking about Hit Row. Trust me, we're going to talk about that when we get to the end. We will talk about this when we get to the end. Do not worry. Please, do not worry. So, if you missed the Rewind for Extreme Rules with Mr. Jay Alletto, please go check that out. The link is in the description. If you want to go check that out after the stream is over, you can absolutely do that. Please go check that out if you missed it. Earl Cole, yes, Earl Cole is here. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the congratulations on the new job. I greatly, greatly appreciate it. So, we are about 9 minutes into the live stream. If you guys have not already liked the video, if you haven't already liked the stream, and we are exactly 9 minutes and 20 seconds into the stream, I don't know what the fuck you're doing, because we need to get to a certain amount of likes here, all right? So far, I believe we got 10 likes. 10 likes. I want to get to at least 20. I want to get to at least 20 because it is absolutely fucking vital. It is vital that we get to 20. So, guys, if you have not already liked the stream, please make sure you like that stream. And, of course, when you like that stream, you got to make sure that you share the stream out on all platforms of social media. I'm talking about a Twitter and Instagram and a Facebook and a Pinterest and a Tumblr and a TikTok and a Snapchat or whatever social media platforms that you use. Please make sure you share it out. It is absolutely fucking vital. You smash it. You smash that like button, just like Roman Reigns is smashing his opponents left and right on SmackDown each and every single week. You got to smash that like button. That way, we can get as many likes as we need. We're trying to get to at least 20. Share out the stream on all platforms, social media. That way you can get as many people in here as possible to help us reach our goals. I'm talking about your mothers, your fathers, your brothers, your sisters, your sons, and your daughters, and your aunts, and your uncles, and your grandmothers, and your grandfathers, and your fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, cousins twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times removed, your dogs, and your cats, and especially your guinea pigs, because I'm telling you right now, you want to know why I had to switch from OBS to StreamYard? Because I have so many articles lodged in my fucking laptop that made my OBS crash twice that specifically stated guinea pigs are exposed to DJ Storms. They are set to live long, happy, healthy, and fruitful lives. So, if you got a guinea pig, you got to make sure that him or her is exposed to DJ Storms on a weekly basis, because they will live long, happy, and healthy and fruitful lives when they get DJ Storms as a part of their weekly routine. So, please make sure that you have your guinea pigs watching DJ Storms. And of course, please hit the subscribe button if you have not already done so. Please let me know what you think of the new format. I know Earl Cole loves it. And of course, you got to hit the notifications bell with a huge coup de grace. That way you will know whenever I pop up on YouTube. Because whenever I pop up on YouTube, it is, of course, the best time to be on YouTube, because it's the only time you're going to get to see this glorious sideburn chin strap combination and this beautiful mustache. I see Hologram, and then I see Rob asking about the comb. If you want to know where the comb is, I'll tell you where the comb is. The comb is right here. Right here. We're going to light it up here on StreamYard with a little and a dash of and a whole lot of because everybody wants a piece of the Stormsmeister. Here we go. Hold on. Look at that. Look at it. Look at this pure black, luxurious hair, man. You cannot, and I mean you cannot love it. Anyway, I think we've had enough of the self-brand promotion, the advertisements. I think it is time to get right into the festivities here on the Lightning Flash update. Please make sure you keep on sharing out the stream, get as many people in here as possible, like I said. Let's dive right into the news, rumors, and reports. My first report here on the Lightning Flash update. We got a report from Wrestling Inc. stating that Alexa Bliss might be out of action for a while after Extreme Rules, and the Extreme Rules angle with Lily being ripped to shreds and destroyed was used to write her off of TV. The site stated, and I quote, "It is not known how long Bliss will be off television, but I was told it would be quote-unquote a few months." PW Insider then followed up on this report by stating that Alexa Bliss will currently be out of action due to a sinus infection, and she's actually getting surgery for that sinus infection. I believe she'll be either getting it at some point in the next week, or she had already gotten it by the time this report came out. But nevertheless, Alexa Bliss is getting surgery for a sinus infection, and she will be out for a few months, according to 2 reports from PW Insider and Wrestling Inc. Now, first off, I do wish Alexa Bliss a speedy recovery, but if you're going to put me behind a closed door with a gun to my head and ask me what I really think about Alexa Bliss being out, I mean, I am ecstatic that Alexa Bliss is going to be off of television. I don't wish injury upon anyone, and I am not wishing injury upon Alexa Bliss whatsoever, but And in the end, the longer Alexa Bliss is off of television, the better. And another thing that I really hope is going to come out of this is I am praying to the wrestling gods that the goddess Alexa Bliss comes back after Alexa Bliss is cleared to return after the sinus infection surgery. Because if we're going to be quite honest here, this is absolutely the worst Alexa Bliss that we have ever seen in her entire run on the main roster. Now, I have never been an Alexa Bliss fan to begin with. I have never been a fan of Alexa Bliss to begin with, specifically because of the fact that she can't fucking wrestle. Alexa Bliss can't fucking wrestle. Alexa Bliss is one of the worst wrestlers in the entire women's division and one of the worst women's wrestlers in the industry, period. She is a cancer to the women's division. She is terrible. She has not had a good match since 2017. 2017, I'm not sure what the fuck happened in 2017, but it's almost like after 2017, she completely forgot how to fucking wrestle. She completely forgot how to fucking wrestle, and she has been just going through the motions and just trying to avoid selling and just play wrestling as if she's a fucking child in her room watching fucking Sasha Banks on television. Her wrestling ability is fucking terrible. So unless she wakes up one morning and wrestles like Bianca Belair, I am never going to be an Alexa Bliss fan, and I am not going to support her. But at the end of the day, I take the goddess Alexa Bliss over this funhouse playground Alexa Bliss any day of the week. So I'd like to hope that Lily being destroyed not only writes her off of television and keeps her off of television for as long as humanly possible, but I'd like to hope that when she comes back, she is the goddess. Because that Alexa Bliss is much more tolerable than the Alexa Bliss that we were currently getting and the Alexa Bliss that we saw at Extreme Rules, specifically because of the fact that the Alexa Bliss that we were currently getting now, it is just so fucking fake. It is so fake. I hate using that word, but it's fake. It is scripted. It is so cheesy. It's so fucking cheesy to a point where it just makes me want to turn the fucking channel off. It is so fucking cheesy. I cannot fucking stand it. I really can't. So I'd like to hope that after Alexa Bliss is cleared to come back from the sinus infection surgery, I'd like to hope that she is not going to be the Playhouse Alexa Bliss anymore. So I'd like to hope that Lily is dead. Lily is dead for good. Sell the rest of the Lily dolls on WWEshop.com on clearance and be done with it. Be done with it. So for those of you wondering what's going down with Alexa Bliss, that is going down with Alexa Bliss. I will check the chat after I'm done with the news, rumors, and reports. And trust me, I got a lot to say about the WWE draft when we get to that. But we are going to be moving on from the Alexa Bliss report. We're going to be moving on to a report from Dave Meltzer. Dave Meltzer on the Wrestling Observer Radio reported WWE is planning 2 big matchups at Crown Jewel. Bobby Lashley and Bill Goldberg, if you want to call that a big matchup, and Edge versus Seth Rollins III. He stated, and I quote, "It looks like Saudi is going to be Edge and Seth, Bill Goldberg and Lashley, and for sure it's Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. So that's the deal right now," end quote. Now, I don't give a shit about Bill Goldberg and Bobby Lashley. Matter of fact, that's going to be the bathroom break match of the Saudi Arabian show. Edge and Rollins, I had a feeling they were kind of going to build towards that, specifically because of the fact that this is the first Saudi Arabian event since February of 2020. It's almost been 2 full years since Saudi Arabia has gotten a WWE event due to the COVID-19 pandemic. So I am not surprised that the Edge and Rollins match is taking place on this show, specifically because of the fact that since this is the first Saudi event in almost 2 years, you knew that WWE was going to go out of their way to load up this show with as many big matches as they possibly could. And to be quite honest with you, maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that's a good thing. I know I may be giving them too much credit here, but if you think about if you think about it, let's take a look at the card on paper for a minute. You got Bill Goldberg, Bobby Lashley, not really all that exciting, but still, it's a big match. Then you got, reportedly, Drew and Big E for the WWE Championship. That should be a great match. Edge and Rollins, they've had 2 excellent matches already. I'm damn sure they're going to have a third one. And then we got Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar, Universal title. We got the King of the Ring finals. We got the Queen's Crown Tournament finals. And then we'll probably get like 2 undercard matches, maybe for the Intercontinental or the United States Championship, depending on which way they want to go. Maybe we get a tag team title match. And then we got Becky, Bianca, and Sasha. That should be great as well. If you look at it on paper, and maybe I'm giving them too much credit here, but if you look at it on paper, it looks to be probably the best-looking Saudi Arabian card on paper. And if they play their cards right with all of those matches taking place, maybe, just maybe, we could be looking at the first ever decent Saudi Arabian show, wrestling-wise at least. Because, again, you take a look at all of those matches on paper, and this Saudi Arabian show, if we're going to be quite honest here, it's looking better than SummerSlam and WrestleMania. If we're going to be quite honest. I know a lot of people are saying crown fools or clown fools, clown jewels. I understand. Trust me, I'm going to be mocking them the entire way there. But at the end of the day, if they play their cards right, it could be a halfway decent show wrestling-wise, just kind of like Extreme Rules was. We'll see what happens, but Edge and Rollins 3 and Bill Goldberg and Bobby Lashley, if it wasn't already obvious enough, those 2 matches are being planned for Saudi Arabian Crown Jewel. Kenny Omega. This is actually one of my favorite parts of the LFU this week, at least. I was very much looking forward to talking about this. Kenny Omega sent the E-Drones and the WWE cocksuckers into a frenzy this week. While speaking to Tokyo Sports, an outlet with mostly kayfabe interviews, Kenny Omega touched on the fact that WWE is becoming desperate. You don't say. And the grass is green, water is wet, winter is cold, summer is hot. You don't say, Mr. Omega. You don't say. Kenny Omega stated, and I quote, "At the start, there was a huge gap between WWE and AEW. AEW was just some fledgling promotion after all. But have you realized how the tables have turned? WWE is desperate. They keep bringing back legends every other week." End quote. And of course, people are mad at Kenny Omega. I mean, why wouldn't they be? I mean, people always get mad at the truth. But at the end of the day, Kenny Omega is correct. There would be no reason for anybody to get mad at anything that Kenny Omega says. If what he's saying is false, people just like to hate on Kenny Omega because he's successful. I mean, it's really not that hard to comprehend, people. WWE has been getting desperate for a long, long time. That's why they brought back Bill Goldberg. That's why they brought back John Cena. That's why Edge is in a top-tier match on some of their biggest shows of the year. That's why they had Big E cash in the Money in the Bank contract on Bobby Lashley a few weeks ago. That's why they're giving away all of these big matches for free on television, like Bobby Lashley and Big E inside of a steel cage. That's why they're doing the WWE Draft. They didn't even hype up the WWE Draft. They just threw it out there. Every other move that WWE does is out of desperation for ratings because they realize that they're falling behind in fan interest. Now more so than ever. And I'm not just saying that now because now is the drought period of WWE when the fans start to migrate away because we got Halloween coming up, we got Thanksgiving coming up, we got Christmas coming up. Now WWE is in a scenario where they are perhaps the least interesting wrestling promotion on the face of the planet. Even Impact, and I can't even believe I'm saying that, but Impact has more fucking interest than WWE. Not in terms of ratings, but in terms of pro wrestling, yeah. I guarantee you, I sit down pro wrestling fans face to face. They take Impact over WWE any day of the week. And the few times that I've watched Impact, I've preferred Impact over WWE every single time that I've watched it. Specifically because now Impact is a part of the Forbidden Door. Impact is working with various other wrestling companies, New Japan, AEW, MLW, etc., etc., etc. So at the end of the day, WWE is falling behind so much because for so long, and long before AEW was even a thing, long before the Forbidden Door was even a thing, they just don't give a shit. They operate with this nonchalant mentality of, we're WWE, we don't care, we're getting paid all this money, they're going to watch anyway, oh, it's WrestleMania, oh, it's SummerSlam, oh, it's a WWE pay-per-view, how long we've been around, look at how many things we survived ECW, we survived WCW, we survived the COVID-19 pandemic, oh, they won't care, let's just throw whatever we can out there and call it a wrestling show or call it sports entertainment. The tides have turned. People don't want shitty sports entertainment anymore. They want legitimate pro wrestling. That's what pro wrestling fans come to watch. Pro wrestling. So at the end of the fucking day, of course WWE is desperate. If WWE wanted to put on all of these good shows, if WWE wanted to give us these major moments, if WWE wanted to listen to the fans, if WWE actually wanted to listen to us, they would have done that well before AEW even came around. They would have done that years before WWE and AEW were at quote-unquote war. Well, there is no war at this rate, and even if there was, AEW would be kicking their ass anyway, just like they are now. But at the end of the day, this quote-unquote war that fans are making out, or at least the WWE is making it out to be, this quote-unquote war is only further exposing WWE for being the desperate, nonchalant, I don't give a shit company that it is. The WWE hasn't given a shit for so long, and now it's coming back to bite them in the ass. And all of a sudden now, WWE expects certain people to just get behind what they're doing because they're giving away big moments for free every other week on television. It doesn't work that way. Of course WWE is desperate. If people don't see the desperation within WWE, then you may be as retarded as I say you are. WWE should not be giving away a big moment every single fucking week on television. You don't see Dynamite doing that. You don't see Rampage doing that. They don't give away a big match or a big moment for free every single week on television. You know how AEW keeps fans invested? You know why AEW is so widely praised by the community? Because of the fact that they operate with a long-term vision for pro wrestling with consistent, logical storylines, putting a focus on wins and losses mattering, putting a focus on character development, developing characters that are developing characters that go along with the people that they are presenting on television. They don't try and overly script people. They don't force people to be something that they're not. They don't overpush someone. They don't underpush someone. For the most part, they do everything right. They're certainly not perfect. I've certainly called them out when they're not perfect. But at the end of the day, the overall product is just very good. And that's all we want. That's exactly what AEW has been doing. You can't say that about WWE. WWE, they don't book long-term. They book week to week. WWE, they don't even know what they're going to do for Monday Night Raw coming up in 2 days for the second part of the draft. They're going to write down plans literally 2 hours before they go live on the USA Network. Maybe even an hour before they go live on the USA Network because they're so fucking indecisive and disorganized. They don't operate with a long-term vision. They don't give a shit about putting on consistent, logical storylines. They don't care about letting the talent mold themselves into a decent character that fits who they are. All they want to do is overly script someone and overly produce someone and make someone out to be who they want to be. They want to force someone to be who they want to be. And then when they don't work out because the fans reject them, then they blame the talent or they blame the fans, and they don't actually blame who is to blame. Vince McMahon and the rest of his management team. The rest of his fucking cocksuckers. Bruce Pritchard tickling his right nut. Kevin Dunn tickling his left. And then you got John Laurinaitis tickling his pubes. Simple. Of course, WWE is desperate. If WWE wanted to put on consistent, logical television, then WWE would have already been doing that. WWE clearly is desperate. Of course, you'll have fucking idiots trying to say that, oh, what about AEW wasting away these big matches and big moments for free on television? AEW is not operating with the same show format as the WWE. WWE has 12 pay-per-views. They have no special shows in between. The only special show, quote unquote, that they do is the draft. AEW does 4 mini pay-per-views in between the big 4 pay-per-views that they do. So, of course, some big moments are going to be on free television, specifically because of the fact that they only have 4 pay-per-views. So what exactly are you trying to compare? You're comparing a 2-year-old company to a 30-plus-year-old company or a 30-plus-year-old show. The company's been around for around 60-plus years, but you're comparing a 2-year-old show to a 30-year-old show. If you're trying to compare and gauge them on the same level, it just goes to show you that you are as dumb as I say you are. WWE is clearly desperate, and if you have not realized it by now, then you're lost. You are absolutely fucking lost, and you need to fucking check yourself because you've already wrecked yourself. So that's Kenny Omega and his comments on WWE being desperate. Who else do we got over here? We got Blazed Radio. How you doing? We got Hibiki TMD. Of course, Hibiki TMD, he knows what the fuck I'm talking about. And then, of course, we got Hansan the Man. How are you, my good sir? And I know, Mr. Rob Wells Jr., we got Armed Anderson. Trust me, we're going to be talking about that really, really soon. We're going to be talking about that when we get to the Dynamite review. But we got a few more news and rumors to dissect. And this report from John Alba on Twitter, he stated that Hit Row is one of the names being discussed for a main roster call-up from NXT for the WWE Draft. And that indeed was the case. And we'll be going over that a little bit later on. Andrew Zarian, he tweeted out the supposed name for the Queen of the Ring tournament, which was confirmed by WWE yesterday during SmackDown. He tweeted out, and I quote, Queen's Crown Tournament is the official name moving forward for Queen of the Ring. Hashtag WWE, hashtag pro wrestling, end quote. Now, I'm not really sure why they're calling it the Queen's Crown Tournament. I don't understand why you can't just call it Queen of the Ring. To me, it's like doing the Women's Royal Rumble, and instead of calling it the Women's Royal Rumble, they'll be calling it the Women's Free-for-All Jamboree. It's fucking stupid. Maybe I'm just nitpicking, but at the end of the day, there's only one thing that I'm focused on, and only one thing that you should be focused on with these two tournaments. King of the Ring and the Queen's Crown Tournament. I don't give a shit what you call them. You can call them the Bumblefuck Squirrel Club tournaments. I don't give a shit what you call them. What should be done, you should be giving the winners title opportunities. I will say that again. Queen of the Ring or Queen's Crown Tournament and King of the Ring, the winners receive title opportunities. Do not, and I repeat, do not give the winners royalty gimmicks. The royalty gimmick is one of the most outdated concepts in pro wrestling as we speak. That shit needs to die 1,000 miserable deaths. The 2019 King of the Ring tournament, that tournament had some great fucking matches in it. Drew McIntyre and Ricochet, Cesaro and Samoa Joe, Baron Corbin, Cedric Alexander, Andrade and Chad Gable and Baron Corbin. That tournament was excellent. Do you understand how much it pissed me off not only pissed me off, but how much it pained me. It legitimately pained me. I felt sorry for all of those 16 men that broke their backs, broke their fucking bodies in that tournament to make that tournament mean something, to make that tournament worth going out of your way to watch a shitty Raw or a shitty SmackDown, which clearly was not putting on quality television at that time. But that tournament gave you some excellent matches, and I legitimately felt bad for all of those men that broke their bodies in that tournament, all for what? A fucking king gimmick. Baron Corbin had some of the best matches of his career in that tournament, and he was actually worse coming out of that tournament because of that shitty king gimmick. That king gimmick was one of the worst Baron Corbin characters, if not the worst Baron Corbin character that I have ever seen. Do not give the winners royalty gimmicks. I've said it once and I'll say it again. If you give the winners royalty gimmicks, you may as well not even bother doing the tournament at all. Title shots, or don't even bother doing the tournament. Now, this will probably just fall on deaf ears, and I am just completely speaking out of my ass here, and they're not even going to bat an eyelash. They're absolutely going to give the winners royalty gimmicks, and I'm going to be sitting here saying, I told you so. I'm going to be sitting here ranting and raving about the same shit over and over again. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to be ranting and I'm going to be bitching and moaning and complaining about how they gave the winners queen and king gimmicks. Said it once and I'll say it again. The winners are to receive title shots on the brand that they are associated with. Give them a U.S. title shot, an IC title shot, a Raw, a SmackDown, a fucking Universal or WWE title shot. I don't give a shit. World title shots is the end game. It's going to make the titles feel important and the tournament feel important. Do not give the winners a queen and a king gimmick. If you do, it is a complete waste of time. And yet again, the king of the ring and now the queen of the ring, or the Queen's Crown tournament, both tournaments will be rendered completely useless at the end. Plain and simple. I don't want to hear a single peep out of anybody. Moving on to a report from Dave Meltzer. Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer Radio provided an impression on where Bray Wyatt might end up. He was not on AEW Dynamite this past Wednesday as speculated. AEW Dynamite was held in Brody Lee's hometown of Rochester, New York. But Meltzer stated that the impression that he has is that Bray Wyatt is most likely going to Impact Wrestling. Now, Fightful actually came out with a report. Earlier today, I believe. Fightful came out with a report earlier today specifically stating that there is absolutely no confirmation that Bray Wyatt is going to Impact. However, Impact has expressed interest in Bray Wyatt. Now, I do not see Bray Wyatt going to Impact. Where do you think Bray Wyatt is going to find the money that he needs? He's going to go to AEW because Impact, they can't fucking afford Bray Wyatt. Impact can barely even afford the people that they got now. What, is Bray Wyatt going to wrestle in front of 50 fucking people? Absolutely fucking not. He's going to AEW. He's got kids to support. He's got JoJo to support. He's got shit that he needs to pay off. Of course he's going to go to AEW. Because AEW, yes, he'll probably get the same creative freedom and impact as he does AEW, but he's going to need a big money contract that AEW has to support the family that he's got. Plain and simple. He's got to pay for child support. So at the end of the day, he's going to go to AEW. Common logic. There's no way he's going to Impact. If he goes to Impact, I would be shocked. I got a report on the winners the supposed winners of the 2022 men's and women's Royal Rumble matches. According to Odds Checker, as we speak, Brock Lesnar is the favorite to win the 2022 men's Royal Rumble with a 6-1 odds, while Sasha Banks is the favorite to win the 2022 women's Royal Rumble with an 11/2 odds. Now, Sasha Banks winning the Women's Royal Rumble, that I would not mind, and I don't think a lot of people would mind that, specifically because Sasha Banks is the best women's wrestler in the company. Matter of fact, there is a great story to tell with Sasha Banks. You could absolutely trade Sasha Banks to Raw, even though I don't think that's going to happen. You could absolutely trade Sasha Banks to Raw, and you could have Sasha Banks get built up as a top babyface. Shayna Baszler could potentially take the Raw Women's Championship off of Charlotte Flair. And to be quite honest with you, based on the two options of having Shayna take the title off of Charlotte, or Charlotte and Becky switch the championships like they did with the New Day and the Street Profits, I would go with Shayna Baszler taking the title off of Charlotte Flair at Crown Jewel. That's my call. That is absolutely my call. You build up Shayna as a dominant monster, and then you have Sasha Banks win the Royal Rumble, and you can get Sasha Banks her first WrestleMania win by having her dominantly or dominated by Shayna Baszler to make a babyface comeback and win the Raw Women's title at WrestleMania 38 in Dallas, Texas, in AT&T Stadium. I would absolutely do that. That, to me, would be a great moment for Sasha Banks. And she would give Shayna Baszler a top-notch WrestleMania match and a big-time WrestleMania moment. So I would absolutely give the Women's Royal Rumble to Sasha Banks. She is absolutely one of the frontrunners. Sasha's one of the frontrunners. You could give it to Naomi and play up that storyline with Sonya Deville. You could give it to Toni Storm. You could give it to Liv Morgan. But Sasha Banks, she's absolutely a frontrunner. I would not complain if Sasha Banks won the Royal Rumble at all. But Brock Lesnar winning the Men's Royal Rumble? To me, that tells me that WWE is doing that as a backup because they do not have Dwayne in the books for WrestleMania. That tells me that they do not have Dwayne on lock for WrestleMania 38 against Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. So they're going to run back Brock Lesnar because they got to rely on the part-timers and they haven't built up anybody else. That's why they brought back Edge. That's why they brought back John Cena to help enhance Roman Reigns, because they have not built up any current star on the roster to operate with Roman Reigns on a big-time pay-per-view stage. And that's sad. That's on WWE because they're lazy. They're lazy and they're complacent and they don't give a shit. Now, it could mean that, or we could possibly see Brock Lesnar face off against a Big E. We could possibly see Brock Lesnar face off against Big E. Does he put over Big E? Maybe, I don't know. But in the end, Brock Lesnar winning the Royal Rumble would be legitimately a waste. The Royal Rumble and Money in the Bank should be matches and platforms that WWE uses to build new stars. If you are a rising up-and-coming star that's ready to break through that glass ceiling and is ready to grab the brass ring, as Vince McMahon says, if you are ready for that next level of superstardom, then you win the Royal Rumble and you win Money in the Bank, or you win Money in the Bank. One or the other. Those should be two platforms used to build new stars. They should not be used to enhance people that are already made. Brock Lesnar doesn't need that. Brock Lesnar doesn't need that, nor should he get that. I understand wanting to enhance Big E, but you don't need to enhance Big E by feeding him Brock Lesnar. All you need to do is put on legitimate matches. Put on legitimate matches with him and superstars that are legitimate enough to get him over, like a Bobby Lashley, like a Drew McIntyre. If you want to put him against someone like a Randy Orton, maybe someone like a Matt Riddle, if you want to do that. Maybe someone like an Edge. Edge and Big E at the Royal Rumble 2022, I would not mind that. That would be great. You can easily do that. Easily. But with Brock Lesnar in a world title match, there's always a chance that he could win. There's always a chance that he could win because WWE is just so fucking deluded that they still think that Brock Lesnar is a quote-unquote draw, and they still think that putting the title on him will bring eyes to the product. No, it won't. No, it won't. If it did, then the ratings would be 3 million at least with Brock Lesnar on the show every time. And you can't tell me I'm wrong. You can't. You can't tell me I'm wrong. On top of that, Brock Lesnar going up against Roman, there's always a chance he could beat Roman as well, because if The Rock is not on lock for WrestleMania 38, he could very well be on lock for WrestleMania 39. And if that's the case, is Roman Reigns going to still be champion at that time? If it was up to me, probably, because there's no one worthy enough to beat him. But at the end of the fucking day, do you trust WWE to maintain Roman Reigns' specialness and maintain Roman Reigns at the top of the mountain like that? Roman Reigns is going to run out of opponents very, very quickly. He's going to run through Brock Lesnar. He's going to run through Big E. He'll beat Rollins. He'll beat McIntyre. And then he's got Jeff Hardy. That's about it. That's about it. So at the end of the day, what are you going to do? What are you going to do in order to maintain Roman Reigns and his dominant reign? Are you going to just recycle old opponents? Maybe a match with Shinsuke Nakamura if he stays on SmackDown? Are you going to build up a new star like a Damien Priest to take the title off of Roman Reigns before Roman faces The Rock? Because The Rock and Roman, that doesn't need a championship. That doesn't need a championship. I don't know. I honestly don't know what they're going to do. But Brock Lesnar winning the Royal Rumble? Absolutely fucking not. That should not even be a thought. Brock Lesnar should be in an undercard match on WrestleMania against Bobby Lashley. That should be the WrestleMania match. Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar. Plain and simple. Brock Lesnar should be nowhere near a world championship. Matt Riddle should be in top contention for winning the Royal Rumble, and he should face Big E and win the WWE Championship from Big E at the Royal Rumble. And don't give me the bullshit that, it's babyface versus babyface. That concept is dead. That concept is dead. If you put two individuals who are great wrestlers on television and you put them in a top-tier matchup, as long as they can wrestle and as long as they give you a match worthy of being a WWE Championship match, who gives a shit if it's heel versus heel or babyface versus babyface? Andrade and Pac was heel versus heel. Did anyone complain about that? No. What about a Ricochet and fucking Pete Dunne? They faced off on NXT a few years ago. Did anyone complain about that? I don't remember anyone complaining about that. What about Sammy Guevara and who else? Who was Sammy Guevara faced off against? Sammy Guevara was a babyface. Didn't he face off against Wheeler Yuta? Wheeler Yuta. He was a babyface too. A lukewarm babyface, but still a babyface. No one complained about that. It was a nice 4-minute showcase match. Babyface versus babyface, heel versus heel. The concept is dead. As long as you put together two athletes that are worthy of giving us championship caliber matches, no one's going to fucking complain. Matt Riddle should be winning the Royal Rumble. Who does Roman face at WrestleMania? I don't know. You can have Roman Reigns' opponent get decided through the Elimination Chamber. But that is the Royal Rumble news. Brock Lesnar is the current favorite as of right now to win the men's Royal Rumble, while Sasha is the current favorite to win the women's. Hopefully, Brock Lesnar winning the Royal Rumble is not a foregone conclusion. Final report, based on the thumbnail, I know you want to hear me talk about this one. According to a report from TalkSport, WWE is strongly considering 2022 SummerSlam event for Cardiff, Wales at the Principality Stadium. The venue is currently a frontrunner after meetings took place over the last week. The report stated, and I quote, "The Principality Stadium in Cardiff is the frontrunner for SummerSlam in the UK next year. Meetings took place during the tour last week, and great progress was made on a WWE UK pay-per-view." Now, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I think a UK pay-per-view is long overdue. I think that's long overdue. I think that the UK crowds are fantastic. I've loved the UK crowds. Matter of fact, the NXT UK TakeOver crowds, probably one of my most favorite crowds in the modern era. I loved the NXT UK Cardiff Wales crowd. And that was just a crowd of what, like 500 people, maybe 1,000 people, 2,000 people at most. I loved that crowd. That crowd was great. That was the event that we had Webster and Andrews Subculture take on Gallus and the Grizzled Young Veterans in a triple threat tag team title match. We saw Ilya Dragunov face off against Cesaro. We saw Walter and Tyler Bate in the main event. Great match. Excellent match. Probably the match of the year. Fantastic stuff. The crowds were great during the NXT UK TakeOver events. So an event in Principality Stadium, I'm not sure how much it houses. What is it? What does it house? Like 90,000? Somewhere around that vicinity range? Feels like a WrestleMania, right? I would not mind that. But if we're going to be real here, why exactly did it take so long for WWE to formulate meetings to decide who's going to get the SummerSlam pay-per-view? Why did it take WWE so long to organize a pay-per-view in the United Kingdom? When was the last pay-per-view in the UK? 2002? 2003? When? When was the last pay-per-view? When was the last pay-per-view in the UK? I can't fucking remember. Must have been a long time, right? Why all of a sudden now we're getting WWE in discussion for a United Kingdom pay-per-view? Oh yeah! Didn't that pissant t-shirt company AEW didn't Tony Khan say that AEW was planning a United Kingdom tour? Didn't he say that in 2022 AEW was planning a United Kingdom tour and they were working everything out and all that other bullshit? Oh yeah, that's right, he did! Wow. Huh. Really? But I thought that you didn't care about what AEW was doing. I thought that AEW was just a pissant company that didn't mean anything. I thought AEW was in competition. But here you are after all of these years, a decade plus. Now you're formulating plans to do a United Kingdom pay-per-view. Meanwhile, all you did for the last God knows how many years is do a tour over in the UK where all you did was a Raw and a SmackDown, and that was pretty much it. People, if you don't think that this has to do with something that AEW is doing, then you're completely out of your fucking mind. Every other move that WWE makes is because of All Elite Wrestling. Why is it that now, all of a sudden, WWE is planning a United Kingdom pay-per-view event? When was the last pay-per-view in the United Kingdom? When? If someone can please, someone in the chat, do some research, tell me when was the last pay-per-view for WWE in the United Kingdom? When was the last pay-per-view for WWE in the United Kingdom? Why is it that now we're just starting to get the plans in motion for that? Meanwhile, that should be a yearly thing. We should have at least one pay-per-view in the United Kingdom every single year because of how good the crowds are. So at the end of the day, what else is there? What else is there to go based on other than the fact that AEW is now starting to break into that international market? AEW is starting to break through that international glass ceiling. They've been doing a lot in the United States. Pretty soon, they're going to be breaking through to the United Kingdom. They're going to be breaking through to the Great White North in Canada. Pretty soon, they're going to be breaking into fucking Mexico. They already got Kenny Omega as the AAA heavyweight champion doing stuff with Andrade. The international market is going to be all elite very, very soon. This has everything to do with AEW. Those are your news, rumors, and reports, ladies and gentlemen. Those are your latest news, rumors, and reports. I would like to thank each and every single one of you again. Let us check the chat. Hansan the man, thank you for joining. Brian Diaz, you are fantastic. Thank you for joining. Dee, I know Dee's still here. You have been fantastic. We got 16 likes. 16 so far. I like it. I like that a lot, man. I like that a lot. Thank you very much. You have all been fantastic thus far. TakeOver Cardiff. I don't count takeovers. I'm talking about main roster pay-per-views, Mr. Hooligram. Leo, how are you? Leo just jumped in the chat. Leo, he is a loyal DJ Storms Pasta supporter. We got 18 likes now. 18 likes. 2 away from 20. You guys have been fantastic the entire time, and I am insanely grateful that you guys have been sticking by me all afternoon going into the evening as we get into dinner time. I'm doing pretty good, Leo. Thank you very much. Blaze Radio, he is a big supporter as well. Wales does count, Hooligram. Look at Hooligram. Hooligram's trying to be all smart. You're trying to be a fucking smart ass now with me, Hooligram, right? Now, you see, Wales was a great fucking crowd in TakeOver Cardiff, all right? If Queen of the Ring is already copywritten, Blazed Radio, then why are they calling it the fucking Queen's Crown Tournament? It's fucking stupid. I guess they'll be calling the winner Queen of the Ring, but we can't call the tournament Queen of the Ring, right? Stupid. They better give the winner a fucking title shot. If they give the winner a fucking Queen gimmick, I'm shitting on it. Anyway, I'm pretty sure a lot of you want to hear me rant about Raw, because Monday Night Raw, I know a lot of people want to suck WWE's dick. I mean, come on, that's Bruce Pritchard's job. We don't need more WWE cocksuckers. Danielle, I told you, I have a show to do. You dab. I got to do my show. People. Rob, don't give everybody nightmares here. Please don't give everybody nightmares here. Please. Anyway, we're going to talk about Monday Night Raw. This is the first of 6 weekly shows that we are going to dissect. I appreciate each and every single one of you sticking by me. You guys have been fantastic. Keep sharing out the stream. Let us see. What do we got on Twitter? I see a lot of people have shared out the stream. A lot of people got the stream pinned. A lot of people are sharing it out on their social medias. Please make sure that you are sharing out the stream on all platforms, social media. If you have not already done so, it is absolutely vital. I see that. Who's got a fucking Twitter space? So someone's got a Twitter space. One of my fans got a Twitter space going on. I don't know what the fuck they're doing, but I'm live on YouTube. Sons of bitches. Come on. Anyway. Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw. Listen, it had some decent wrestling on it. I'm not going to completely shit on the wrestling because, like I've said before, I said it on the Rewind for Extreme Rules, and you can go check it out if you want to. WWE has the best roster that they've ever assembled, but you would not know that because of how fucking terrible the booking is. The booking has been absolutely fucking atrocious. I see Hooligram just shared out the Lightning Flash update. Hooligram, you are absolutely fucking fantastic. So all the support and all the love goes out to Hooligram right now. He is awesome. Oh, no, trust me, Danielle. Trust me, I'm not going to hold back no rants. I see we do have 19 likes as well. We're not going to be holding back any rants. Trust me on that. So, Again, WWE has probably the best roster that they've ever assembled, but you would not know that. You would not know that with how bad the shows are produced and booked. But I want everyone to understand, I've said it once and I'll say it again, exactly what Kenny Omega said. WWE is desperate. WWE is desperate, and WWE is not doing this shit because they want to please the fans. They're not listening to the fans. They're trying to put shit out there to try and draw you in with any single amount of interest that they could possibly generate because they know that they are slipping. They know that AEW is right up their ass. AEW's right up their ass in the 18-49 demo. And sooner rather than later, AEW beating Raw in the key demographic is going to be a consistent thing. So the show started off with Big E versus Bobby Lashley for the WWE Championship. The desperation here was strong, and we're going to talk about that. So they had decent chemistry. I'm not going to shit on the match here, but I'll tell you what I will shit on. I'm going to shit on the ending. Lashley was in firm control early on. Big E came back with a belly-to-belly suplex. Lashley then sent Big E into the steps. He continued the assault on Big E. Big E and Lashley hit a double clothesline on each other. Big E came back with some punches. Lashley hit a neck breaker. Big E with a suicide spear. And then all of a sudden, Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin were standing right at Big E. Big E fell right at their feet. He was greeted by Cedric and Shelton, who were wearing Hurt Business t-shirts. They did not touch Big E. So Lashley took advantage, hit a spine buster. The New Day then came out to attack the Hurt Business. Not sure if this is a permanent thing or not. A DQ was caused as the fight spilled into the ring, and WWE official Adam Pearce came out as referees and other officials tried to separate the two groups. And Adam Pearce organized a rematch for Big E and Lashley later in the night inside of a steel cage. Desperation, desperation, desperation. If you can't get that through your head, you are a retard. You are a retard. If WWE wanted to put on consistently good television and they wanted to listen to the fans, they would have never broken up the Hurt Business. They got the Hurt Business back together because this is pretty much WWE telling everyone, yeah, we fucked up. Or it could just be a one-time thing and WWE's doubling down on what they're doing and they're just going to give two big birdies to the audience by having the Hurt Business be a one-time thing, and then they're going to send Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin to the fucking firing line. And on top of that, I don't want to make everything an AEW versus WWE thing, but I need to say this because AEW would never do this. They would never, ever book a match to start the show, have it end in a non-finish, only to do the exact same match in the main event of that exact same show. No one would ever catch AEW doing that dead center. Nobody. We got the steel cage match in the main event. Nothing but desperation here with Big E and Lashley starting the show, only for it to end in a disqualification, and then we get the same match in the main event in a steel cage match. I don't even know if the Hurt Business staying together are a permanent deal. I hope it's a permanent deal, but even then, it would just be WWE admitting that they fucked up. They fucked up. Hurt Business should have never been broken up, but yet WWE is desperate for this praise, and everyone is praising WWE. Everyone is sucking that WWE dick. They have that 8-inch schlong right down their throats. I see all of you cocksuckers out there. You disgust me. We went into Eric versus Angel Garza. Angel Garza wins in about 4 minutes with a wing clipper. And that was pretty much that. Listen, I appreciate the fact that they're building up Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo through legitimate wins, but I cannot get behind the stereo fucking typical, Okay, we get singles matches, and then we're going to get the tag team match. So next week, we're probably going to get Humberto versus Ivar, and then we're going to get the Viking Raiders versus Humberto and Angel Garza at some point in the coming weeks. But Angel Garza got the win. I'm glad that they're building them up. If they stay on Raw, if Angel Garza and Humberto, if they stay on Raw, they are abso-fucking-lutely the team to take the titles off RK Bro. I would absolutely give them the titles at the hands of RK Bro. No doubt. Reggie versus Ricochet for the 24/7 championship. You heard me correctly. There was not a glitch. I'm not on OBS anymore. I did not stutter. Ricochet is facing Reggie for the 24/7 championship. Yeah, I love how people always try and make a fucking excuse for Ricochet. Oh, he's this. Oh, he's that. Oh, he's mid-card for life. Oh, he's not that good. Oh, he's not buried. Blah, blah, blah. Ricochet is buried. I don't understand how many more things WWE needs to do to this poor fucking man in order for you to realize that he is being fucking mistreated. I feel sorry for it. I want to feel sorry for him. There's a part of me that feels sorry for him, but then there's a part of me that doesn't because he had a chance to walk and he didn't walk. He should just pull a fucking CM Punk and walk. Just fucking walk. Walk! I don't even know what is to come of his girlfriend, Casey. Let me tell you something. Ricochet's a lucky man to have Casey, but let me tell you something. If Ricochet's being treated like this and Vince and Bruce, they took over NXT as it is, I do not see, and I really do not see Casey going anywhere on Raw or SmackDown or even NXT. I feel sorry for Casey Catanzaro as well. I like to hope that maybe she might have a glimmer of hope, but in reality, she doesn't. I'm sorry, she doesn't. I feel bad for both of them. Ricochet took out Reginald with a Tope Con Hero, and then the 24/7 title crew, the catering crew, they attacked them. They were at ringside. They went after Ricochet. These fucking morons went after Ricochet, and he's not even the fucking champion. Reginald tried to escape before Drake Maverick. He called in Tozawa on a fucking walkie-talkie. Tozawa, in his fucking ninja outfit, Jackie Chan 2.0, ran after Reginald. Reginald flipped out of the way, and Reginald got away scot-free with the 24/7 title yet again. And no one gives a shit. I don't understand how the USA Network executives still think that the 24/7 title is generating any interest. It's not. Just end it. End it. This was fucking embarrassing. But yet this was a great Raw. Yeah, great Raw. Great Raw, right? Great Raw. And I'm Martian Manhunter. Akira Tozawa was still in the ring. He goes, I demand a match with R-Truth, Drew Gulak, Drake Maverick. I don't care who it is. He wanted a match. Yeah. And I want better wrestling shows. I want to be a millionaire. Can't really always get what we want. But in this case, Tozawa actually got what he wanted. All of a sudden, Keith... I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do this anymore. You guys making the Kung Fu Naki jokes... Kung Fu Naki in the chat. Trust me, I know where that came from. I made that joke. I made that joke a year ago. Keith Bearcat Lee. Keith Bearcat Lee. This was a 1-minute squash match. Keith Lee won with the Big Bang Catastrophe. He came out with a focused look on his face, very heel-like, and he won with the Big Bang Catastrophe. Who cares? Who cares? Keith Bearcat Lee. Keith Bearcat Lee. Now, before I talk about the name, I want to talk about the heelish-like actions, right? The heelish-like actions of Keith Lee. He was very heel-like in this match. Now, I'm not sure if that is a sign of things to come, but if it is, I don't understand why him turning heel is even a thought. Him turning heel is equivalent to fucking Hooligrim in the chat. Keith Baloo Lee. Keith Baloo Lee. He's coming straight out of the fucking Jungle Book with Mowgli. Just for that, I'm going to have to sing it. Look for the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. Forget about your worries and your strife. Yeah, man. Fucking Baloo Keith Lee. Hooligrim, I love you. Hooligrim, I fucking love you. Keith Lee as a heel. You can't be distracting me here. Keith Lee as a heel. Keith Lee as a fucking heel. It's equivalent to Becky Lynch as a fucking heel. It's equivalent to Becky Lynch as a fucking heel because there's no fucking reason for Keith Lee to turn heel. There's no fucking reason for Keith Lee to turn heel. Specifically, the chat is going fucking insane. I'm trying to fucking rant here, and you guys are fucking making me laugh mid-rant. What are you doing? Are you trying to throw me off my game here? Becky Lynch, she came back. And there was legitimately no reason for her to be booed. She came back, and there is no reason, no explanation behind this heel turn. She just came back. Hey, I'm heel. Why are you bringing Keith Lee back just to turn him heel out of nowhere? We don't want to boo Keith Lee. We want to get behind Keith Lee because of how he's been treated at the hands of management. We want to get behind Keith Lee specifically because of the fact that Keith Lee overcame heart inflammation this year. He overcame death itself. And when he overcame death itself, he posted that video talking about his condition. Everyone came out in droves to support Keith Lee. Everyone came out in droves to support Keith Lee, and everyone was behind Keith Lee. What reason does he have to turn heel? How is anyone going to boo Keith Lee when he overcame heart inflammation? On top of that, he got little to no reaction when he came out. That has to do with the fact that he's been kept off of television even when he wasn't out with heart inflammation. And on top of that, he has been booked like shit throughout the last year of his main roster run. Now he's got Bearcat Lee. And now people are trying to say, oh, it's a throwback to Ernie the Bearcat Williams, I believe this classic black wrestler was. I don't know, first black wrestler to win a fucking world championship. Something like that. I don't even give a shit. What worked back then doesn't work now. And it just goes to show you how out of touch WWE really is. Here's what I want to know. Why can't Keith Lee carve his own legacy? Why does he have to pay tribute to an old wrestler? Why can't he carve his own legacy as Keith Lee? What is so hard about that? What is legitimately so hard about that? Now he's got the name fucking Bearcat. Is he a Bearcat? Is he a Wildcat? I don't know if I'm watching Keith Lee or I'm watching High School Musical. All we need is fucking Zac Efron and Vanessa Hudgens to come on out here and start dancing with Keith Lee. Wildcats everywhere. Wave your hands up in the air. Wildcats in the house. That's all I'm waiting for. We need Vanessa Hudgens and Zac Efron to start singing Breaking Free. We're soaring, flying. There's not a star in heaven that we can't reach. That's all we need. I would much rather watch that than watch fucking Bearcat, Wildcat Keith Lee. We need the fucking Wildcat mascot to come out to support Keith Lee. Unbelievable. And no, this is not going to get him over. The heel turn makes no sense if he's even heel. And this name is a fucking embarrassment. Keith fucking Wildcat Lee. I'd take fucking Vanessa Hudgens in High School Musical over Keith Lee any day. She's fine. She's fine. Bearcat. Keith Bearcat, Keith Baloo Lee. What did Rob Wells Jr., Kung Fu Panda Lee. Kung Fu Panda Lee. Kung Fu Panda Lee with Jack Black as Keith Lee's manager. All we need is we need that Kung Fu Panda song playing whenever Keith Lee comes out. Damien Priest. Damien Priest versus Sheamus. So a no DQ match for the United States Championship. I can't do this shit anymore. I really can't. Priest and Sheamus. Another rematch. So Sheamus was the one pinned at Extreme Rules, yet he's getting another rematch. He's actually out again for another nose surgery. I actually wish a speedy recovery for Mr. Sheamus, but how many fucking times do we have to see Damien Priest versus Sheamus? You cannot put this guy up against anybody else. No DQ match for the U.S. Championship. Leave it to WWE to give us a no DQ match, a quote-unquote Extreme Rules match after Extreme Rules. Terrible. But the match itself was very good. The match itself was very good. So Priest brought out a table. He kept the aggression on Sheamus. We had Sheamus delivering a white noise off the apron through the table to Priest. Coming back from commercial, Sheamus continued to beat down Priest with a kendo stick. He then set up a table in the corner. Sheamus was then caught with rapid-fire kendo stick shots by Priest. Sheamus then sent Priest into the barricade. Sheamus admired his handiwork. Priest tried to mount the comeback, but Sheamus sent him headfirst into a chair that was wedged in between the buckles. He then delivered an Alabama slam for a 2. Priest threw a chair at Sheamus and then delivered a South of Heaven for a 2. Priest then faked out Sheamus with a bro kick and then delivered a clothesline. Sheamus then caught Priest with a punt knee strike for a 2. Sheamus was sent by Priest through a table, and then Priest hit the reckoning, and Priest retains the United States Championship in a very, very good no DQ match. Probably the best thing on the show. Sheamus is no slouch. Sheamus is no slouch, and a lot of people need to give Sheamus a lot more credit. He does not get the credit that he deserves as an in-ring performer. He is an excellent in-ring performer, and he's always been solid. He has proven to everyone that he's not just some big oaf that doesn't know how to wrestle. He's not Omos. Sheamus is legit. And Sheamus, he's a bona fide Hall of Famer when all is said and done. I like to hope that when Sheamus comes back, he does get drafted to SmackDown. Damien Priest, the organic rise of Damien Priest has been very, 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 very nice to see. And Damien Priest, over the last month, he has really morphed himself into perhaps one of the best things about Raw. Maybe even the best thing about Raw. I'd even put him over RK Bro because of how good his matches have been. Damien Priest, and this might be stretching it a little bit, but Damien Priest is perhaps the best United States champion since John Cena. Every single time Priest has defended that title, he's always put on a great match. Matches with McIntyre, Hardy, Sheamus. Priest has been on fire since he won that championship. And Priest right now, he's the only other champion outside of Roman Reigns that feels like a champion. And I hope that it continues. Wherever he ends up, whether he ends up on SmackDown, whether he ends up on Raw, I legitimately hope that he continues going forth with what he's doing. I legitimately hope that they continue Priest's momentum, and when he's ready to drop that title to someone like an LA Knight, perhaps, maybe an LA Knight, maybe a Sami Zayn, I don't know, maybe an Apollo Crews, when he's ready to drop that title, I legitimately hope that he is elevated up to the world title picture. If they want to, Priest could very well be a guy that you can pick out and choose and build him up to take down Roman. He very well could, if they play the cards right. But Damien Priest, keep doing what they're doing with Damien Priest. I like to hope so, that they're going to keep doing what they're doing, but I don't know. Something tells me that it's all just going to come crashing down. I don't know when, I don't know how. I just hope that they continue doing what they're doing. Jeff Hardy, Mansoor, and Mustafa Ali versus Jinder Mahal, Veer, and Shanky. This was a 4-minute match. Veer with a vicious clothesline, turning Ali inside out, and Veer pins Ali for the win. Who did Mustafa Ali piss off? Who did Mustafa Ali piss off? Why is Mustafa Ali losing to Veer and Omos within the same month? What did he do? What did he do that was so bad? What did he do? Ali, he's got to fucking walk. He's got to walk. I cannot stand seeing a talent like Ali being jobbed out. Jackson Ryker took on Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross won with a Doomsday Saito, and then he made Jackson Ryker tap out to the cross jacket. And that was pretty much that. I didn't care. Nobody cared. And at the end of it all, Karrion Kross, it doesn't matter what they do with Kross, he is buried. Buried. He's buried. Doudrop asked Sonya Deville and Pierce for the Raw Women's title opportunity at Charlotte Flair. Doudrop asked Sonya and Adam Pearce for the title opportunity against Charlotte Flair. Might I remind you that it was an open challenge. I don't know what it is, but WWE in the last couple years, in this era of pro wrestling, in like the last few years or so, I don't know what they've been doing, but what is it with WWE announcing that a champion is going to have an open challenge and then someone accepts the open challenge over social media, or they accept it a few hours before the individual goes out to face off against their opponent for the open challenge, and they either go to the champion or they go to an official and get their request approved. That's not an open challenge. It's not. An open challenge is what John Cena did every week when he was the United States champion back in 2015. That was an open challenge. Cena came out. He didn't know who his opponent was. Well, he did, but he didn't. And the crowd didn't know who the opponent was. The crowd didn't know who the opponent was either. And no one knew until the opponent came out. The opponent was a surprise to everyone, John Cena and the fans included. But if an individual accepts an open challenge, quote unquote, if an individual throws down, if a champion throws down an open challenge and an individual accepts the challenge before the champion even comes out to announce that they're issuing the open challenge and they're waiting for their opponent, that's not an open challenge. If you're going to do an open challenge, make it an open challenge. An open challenge is when nobody knows who the opponent of the champion is. That's an open challenge. WWE, in typical WWE fashion, ruining yet another thing. AJ Styles and Matt Riddle. Very good match. Nothing that we haven't seen from these two. I don't even know why these two are still facing off. I don't understand why Matt Riddle and AJ Styles and Randy Orton and Omos, I don't understand why they are still intertwined with each other. The match was very good. Styles and Riddle, they have very good chemistry. Riddle came in with a Pele kick and a springboard floating bro. Styles reversed the floating bro and locked in the calf crusher before Riddle got to the ropes. Riddle then went for the RKO. Styles caught him in midair, delivered a burning hammer, and then the Styles clash. So great. Riddle loses clean. Champions losing clean on television. Does this mean we're going to get AJ and Omos versus Matt Riddle and Randy Orton again? How many times can we fucking see it? At this rate, I'm praying that we get Styles being drafted to SmackDown. And that way, Omos, he gets drafted to the unemployment line. Charlotte Flair versus Doudrop, Raw Women's Championship. Eva Marie came out with her entrance. Doudrop looked like a fucking idiot. I'm sick of WWE doing this shit where they have someone staring at the fucking entranceway and someone's entrance music comes out and the individual gets distracted, looks like a fucking idiot, and they lose. Charlotte Flair with a shitty-looking natural selection for the win. Eva Marie then came out and stood over Doudrop before Charlotte clotheslined Eva. And that was pretty much that. Charlotte Flair is trying her damnedest to turn her detractors into fans, I'll tell you that. Even though she was only on the show for about 2-3 minutes, we're still going to say it. What's the code here, people? The code. The code is... Fuck Charlotte Flair. Fuck Charlotte Flair. And all of her supporters. Because they all suck. Thank you very much for typing your FCFs in the chat. So, Goldberg was interviewed. He called out Bobby Lashley. I'm a father. You're a father. I hope you're a better father than you are a liar. When you choked my son out, you lied and said it was a misunderstanding. You hurt my son, Bobby Lashley. Now I'm going to hurt you real bad. If I'm lucky enough, I'm going to kill you. Gage Goldberg is my son. Now you, Bobby, you're about to be my victim. So we're getting Goldberg and Bobby Lashley at Clown Fools. That's going to happen. That is going to happen on the 21st of this month, October. It's pretty much that. I don't give a shit. Bobby Lashley's going to be buried by Goldberg. Eva Marie was in the ring. She said, if I had the opportunity that Doudrop had, I'd be Raw Women's Champion, and I could beat any woman in that locker room, and you know it. I think Eva Marie is hitting whatever Matt Riddle's hitting too much. Shayna Baszler came out, and she grabbed Eva, choked her out with the Karafuda clutch, and then she stomped Eva's arm on the steps as the crowd chanted one more time. Even the crowd knows. Even the crowd knows, baby. Crowd knows. The crowd knows. The crowd knows that Eva Marie sucks. And I am very, very, very thankful for Shayna Baszler. Even though she doesn't deserve it, I would give Shayna Baszler the Raw Women's Championship because I can't fucking stand Charlotte. I hope Shayna Baszler continues to run through the entire Raw Women's roster. And we inevitably get Shayna Baszler as the Raw Women's Champion when this is all said and done. Big E, Bobby Lashley, steel cage match for the WWE Championship. This was actually a very good match. But, again, this was nothing more than desperation. Good match, though. Big E and Bobby Lashley worked very well together here. So Lashley attacked Big E right out of the gate, sending Big E over the barricade, into the steps, into the post, into the cage. Big E then got dropped by Lashley with the steps. Coming back from commercial, Big E tried to mount the comeback. And Big E was sent into the buckle by Bobby Lashley. And then Bobby Lashley choked Big E out with a Dragon Sleeper. The Hurt Business came back out to stop Big E from escaping the cage before the New Day then prevented Lashley from escaping by slamming the door in Bobby Lashley's face. Kofi then hit a trust dive off the cage, taking out the Hurt Business. Coming back from a second commercial, Lashley with a superplex. Off the middle rope, Big E mounted yet another comeback. We had a big belly-to-belly suplex. Lashley with a spear. Big E kicked out. Lashley then toyed with Big E. Big E came back with a big ending for a close 2 count. Lashley then with a spine buster. Big E and Lashley, they were up on the middle rope. And all of a sudden, we get a huge, big ending. A big ending from the middle rope. And Big E gets the win. And then afterwards, he stared down Drew McIntyre as Drew McIntyre came down to point his sword at Big E. So it looks like we're getting Drew McIntyre versus Big E. Drew McIntyre versus Big E. And we are inevitably getting Big E getting put over by Drew McIntyre before we inevitably get Big E losing to Roman Reigns at the Survivor Series. That was Raw. Not as bad as we usually get. Not as bad as we usually get, but at the end of the day, that was pretty much that. That was that. Monday Night Raw is Monday Night Raw. Pretty much more of the same. And I do not see the draft changing anything. Here's what I'm trying to figure out. I don't understand why this no DQ match was not a part of the triple threat match between Hardy, Sheamus, and Priest at Extreme Rules. And I don't understand why Big E and Lashley was not on the Extreme Rules show inside a steel cage. Oh yeah, that's right. It's because of desperation. Should have been the steel cage match at Extreme Rules for the WWE title. No reason why it should have taken place on Raw. They did it for ratings. Desperation. That was Monday Night Raw. We got about 5 more shows to dissect. We are going on an hour and a half plus. And we are kicking ass. We are kicking ass, people. And I'm loving it. I'm loving it. We got 18 likes so far. Please, 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 if you can, share out the stream. We need more people. We need more people in the chat because we are going to go over NXT 2.0 next. It is vital, people. It is vital that you share out the stream, get as many people in here as possible, and we reach our goal. Thank you very much for continuing to watch. Thank you, Dee, for being my #1 mod. Thank you very much to Hula Grim and Earl Cole and Blazed Radio. I'm loving it. I am absolutely loving it. And we are going to dissect NXT 2.0. We're going to dissect NXT 2.0 right now. And NXT 2.0 was, it was okay. It was okay. We did get some decent wrestling on NXT 2.0, but at the end of the day, NXT, it's just not fun. It's just not fun. And to be quite honest with you, a lot of people are starting to not watch NXT at all. The ratings are already dipping lower and lower. The ratings were down about 12% from last week. I think the ratings were about 700,000. Let me do 700,000 times 12. 700,000. Let me do the math over here. NXT was almost a 600,000 viewed show. NXT was almost a 600,000 viewed show, and it was not good at all. It was not good at all. So, NXT 2.0. NXT 2.0, we had B-Fab and Elektra Lopez kick off the show. This was a no DQ match. Decent little match, but if we're going to be quite honest here, these women do not know how to properly use weapons. So, coming back from commercial, Lopez brought out a table. B-Fab then snapped Lopez's leg on the table. Lopez then brought out a kendo stick, and then she brought out some chairs. Lopez body slammed B-Fab on a chair. B-Fab came back at Lopez by hitting her with a kendo stick. Lopez then with a crossbody to B-Fab on a chair. And then she was dropped shoulder first on an open chair. And then a blue thunder bomb for the win. And that was pretty much that. Elektra Lopez gets the win. And Hit Row, Shit Row, Death Row, they are headed up to SmackDown. Dexter Lumis and Indy Hartwell were on their honeymoon. Gargano, he dressed up as a shark to scare them away from the water. Who gives a shit? Seriously, who gives a shit? Joe Gacy was in the ring again, going on about how the ring is a safe space. He says, I made a big impact, and I have not been canceled using only my words. I didn't throw one single punch. I speak for a generation that nobody understands. You are all living in a dark, obsolete world. Joe Gacy is inclusive. He can solve our problems and all of our conflicts with conversations and simple discussions. Thank you for your open minds. And that was that. I don't give a shit. I honestly don't give a shit. It's pointless. Joe Gacy's gimmick is fucking pointless. Pointless. Joe Gacy and this new gimmick is something straight out of this woke generation that WWE is trying to use in order to seem with the times. It's fucking stupid. Take it off of television. Zion Quinn versus Oney Lorcan. Zion Quinn, he won with a Samoan drop and a big flying forearm. Oney Lorcan, we will see you on the unemployment line in a few months. Oney Lorcan is absolutely getting released. MSK came out to address the NXT universe. They were being booed. Probably has to do with the lack of proper booking, because MSK has not had proper booking. They have great matches, but they have not had the proper heels to work with. Great baby faces and great heels need the opposing characters to work with, and MSK has not had that at all. So their babyface run feels very, very flat, if you're wondering why they're being booed. MSK said that they will continue to be fighting champions, that they will knock people back down. All of a sudden, the grizzled young veterans came out and they asked about their title opportunity. Zach Gibson was doing his shtick. Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams then came out. They hyped up themselves for a tag team title shot. Carter and Wes Lee then accepted GYV's challenge. Brooks Jensen and Josh Briggs then came out. Jensen talked about what was talked down by to Trick Williams, and then we got a big brawl. MSK, Josh Briggs, and Brooks Jensen stood tall. That was pretty much that. I didn't give a shit about this segment. We're getting a big 8-man tag team match next week. Who gives a shit? Toxic Attraction versus Zoe Stark and Io Shirai. This was for the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships. Champs were in early control on Stark with a crossbody. Gigi Dolan with a cannonball onto Stark. Shirai with a moonsault onto Toxic Attraction. And then coming back from commercial, we get Starks coming in, the sliding knee for a 2. JC Jane then with a rolling elbow. Stark with a rolling senton. Jane with a running neck breaker. Shirai then came in off the tag. Shirai with a 619 and a springboard dropkick for a 2. Dolan then with a half and half suplex for a close 2 count. Super kick by JC Jane. Back rotation suplex GTS by Stark. She had a plancha on Dolan, and then she stared down at Mandy Rose as Shirai hit the over the moonsault, and Io Shirai and Zoe Stark retained the NXT Women's Tag Team titles. Very good match. Probably the best thing on the show. And if I'm going to be quite honest here, even though Bruce Pritchard and Vince McMahon are technically running, they are running NXT. Io Shirai, I'd much rather have her on NXT than Raw and SmackDown. So Io Shirai is spared. I was actually shocked, though. I thought that Shirai was getting called up, but maybe she's not. I don't know. Maybe she's not. I can absolutely see Frankie Monet getting called up. If I'm going to be quite honest with you, I see Frankie Monet getting called up. Andre Chase versus Boa. Andre Chase is fucking terrible. You would never see these types of gimmicks in the old NXT. Mei Ying sprayed white mist in the eyes of Andre Chase, and Boa won with a reverse DDT. Who gives a shit? I don't. This was probably one of the funniest things about the show, and I can't even believe that I'm saying this. Indy Hartwell and Dexter Lumis, they went back to their hotel room. Gargano was checking if they had protection. They were on a honeymoon, so shit was going down, or so Gargano thought. Shit was going down, or so Gargano thought. So Gargano was checking if Indy Hartwell and Dexter Lumis had protection, and sure enough, Dexter Lumis brought a lot of protection. So Gargano hid in the closet, and Gargano, he overheard a pillow fight. It was just a pillow fight between Indy Hartwell and Dexter Lumis, but Indy was saying all these dirty phrases like harder and do you like it like that? And Gargano, he was covering his ears and shaking his head, and he was just absolutely disgusted by everything he heard. This was fantastic right here. Gargano tried to leave when they were taking a nap, and Dexter opened his eyes. He gave Gargano a thumbs up, and then Gargano gave him a thumbs up, and Dexter showed him all the condoms that he had. I kid you not. Go back and watch it. I was laughing my ass off. I can't even believe that I found this funny, but I did. My mind is a juvenile place. Grayson Waller versus Roderick Strong. This was for the NXT Cruiserweight Championship. I'm going to be quite honest here. Grayson Waller, his ring attire is fucking terrible. But I will say this. Grayson Waller did not look half bad here against Roderick Strong. Grayson Waller actually held his own very, very nicely against Roderick Strong. I'm not even bullshitting you. Grayson Waller actually did a very decent job against Roderick Strong. I didn't mind this at all. So, Waller attacked Strong before the match began. Coming back from commercial, Strong wore down Waller. Then a nice backbreaker for a 2. Grayson Waller then came back with a missile drop kick and a big rolling elbow. Big leaping elbow for a 2. Grayson Waller then with a beautiful tope con hero over the top. And then he rolled through from the outside into the ring into a stunner. I thought that this was great. That got a very close near fall. Strong ended up winning the match with a brutal fucking knee strike, and Grayson Waller sold it as if he was legitimately fucking knocked out. He sold it as if he got killed. That looked brutal. And Strong retains the NXT Cruiserweight Championship. Good match. I'm not really sure where anyone goes here because, again, I don't see the NXT Cruiserweight Championship lasting that long on NXT, if I'm going to be quite honest. I don't see the NXT Cruiserweight Championship lasting very long on NXT, specifically because of the fact that they want to do away with the midgets. I don't know what happens. Lashing out with Lash Legend. I think that this was fucking terrible. And Lash Legend is a fucking loser. This was probably the most mainstream shit that you could have done. And whatever they're doing right now on mainstream television, it is absolutely fucking terrible. It is terrible. End it. End it. Lash Legend, I hope she gets fired. Kyle O'Reilly versus Ridge Holland. Typical matchup right here between Kyle O'Reilly and Ridge Holland. I didn't care. Wasn't terrible, but I didn't give a shit. Kyle O'Reilly attacked Ridge Holland right out of the gate. Holland tried to wear down O'Reilly with a suplex. O'Reilly then with a strike combo and a big dragon screw. PK for a 2. We had an armbar locked in. Holland powered out of it with a big power slam. Holland then with a deadlift powerbomb for a 2. O'Reilly was then distracted by Dunn. Holland was then sent into Pete Dunne, and O'Reilly rolled up Holland for the win. Afterwards, Pete Dunne and Ridge Holland attacked Kyle O'Reilly before Von Wagner came out to save Kyle O'Reilly from a further attack. I don't know where this is going, but Von Wagner seems to be on Vince McMahon's priority list. Tony D'Angelo is showing up next week, which I actually can't wait for. I think Tony D'Angelo is going to be a very nice asset to NXT. I think Tony D'Angelo has a lot of potential. I think Tony D'Angelo and his video packages have been very good. Not even lying. Odyssey Jones versus LA Knight. That's next week. And then we got a big 8-man tag team match next week. Main event was Frankie Monet versus Raquel Gonzalez. Very basic match right here. Nothing special. Raquel Gonzalez wins in about 7 minutes with a Chincona bomb. And then afterwards, Toxic Attraction came out. They attacked the Robert Stone brand. And then they surrounded Raquel Gonzalez. And they attacked her. And Mandy Rose stood tall with the NXT Women's title to close the show. Not really sure if this is going anywhere with Mandy Rose, but we'll see what happens. That was NXT. Nothing special. I didn't give a shit. Thank you very much for continuing to stick by me. I realize I talk a lot, and I realize I go on and on for a long, long time. But we have about 4 more shows to go over. We have AEW Dynamite to go over. And AEW Dynamite was an excellent, excellent, excellent show. Lots of great material on AEW Dynamite this week. We're going to go over it. CM Punk kicked off the show. He joined the commentators for the opening match between Jungle Boy and Adam Cole, baby. This was an excellent fucking match. Perfect way to kick off the show. I loved every single bit of this match. Adam Cole tried to wear down Jungle Boy before Jungle Boy came back with a huge rebound lariat, turning Cole inside out. We had a huge super kick by Jungle Boy, an enziguri by Cole, elbow strike, and then a brainbuster by Jungle Boy. Big German suplex for a 2 on Adam Cole. We had a Tree of Woe drop kick that got a 2. We had a backstabber and a knee drop brainbuster by Cole on Jungle Boy for a 2 count. Jungle Boy hit a Poison Rana and then a big elbow strike. That got a 2 count. Jungle Boy with a Fisherman brainbuster for another 2 count. Cole with an enziguri to Jungle Boy as Jungle Boy went for a suicide dive. Jungle Boy then with a Hurricane Rana over the top rope, sending Cole to the floor. Cole then back in the ring with a huge Panama Sunrise. Jungle Boy just kicked out. Jungle Boy then with the snare trap. Cole was able to get out of it. And then Cole hit a low blow behind the referee's back. And then he hit the last shot for the win. Excellent fucking match. And the Elite then came out. And the Elite were hyping themselves up. Cole said, I beat Jungle Boy by myself because I'm Adam Cole, baby. And the Elite is undefeated. Nick Jackson then gave Michael Nakazawa the mic as the crowd chanted CM Punk. Omega then took the mic and he said, my socials have been blowing up. Kenny, that was AEW Dynamite's greatest match ever. But see, I can't even read my own handwriting. But then he said, but see if I care. Bryan Danielson, you kicked my head in, but you couldn't get the job done when it counted. Bryan Danielson then came out and he goes, do you want to see a rematch between me and Kenny Omega? Crowd chanted yes. He goes, so they want a rematch, but it appears you don't have enough balls to give me a rematch. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Kenny No Balls Omega. So the crowd chanted, Kenny No Balls. Bryan then challenged any member of the Elite to a match on AEW Rampage. And then all of a sudden we get Bryan Danielson calling in Christian Cage, Frankie Kazarian, and Jurassic Express, and the Elite left. The Elite left, and that was pretty much that. Good segment. Good segment here. I definitely did not mind it. We got Nick Jackson and Daniel Bryan on Rampage, and then we got the Elite versus Kenny Omega, the Elite versus Bryan Danielson, Christian Cage, and Jurassic Express. That is next week. That should be great. Dante Martin and Matt Sydal, they took on Lee Johnson and Cody Rhodes. The crowd was booing Cody and chanting, Cody sucks. Now, if you guys are wondering why Cody is being booed, I'll tell you why Cody's being booed. It's not because he buries talent, because let's be real here. Cody has not faced individuals. He has not faced or beaten individuals that he shouldn't have gone over. And do not give me the excuse of QT Marshall. Do not give me the excuse of Anthony Ogogo. You have to be credible in order for you to be buried. QT Marshall was not going anywhere. You're not going to push QT Marshall over a Kenny Omega or a Darby Allin or an MJF or a Jungle Boy or a Miro. You're not going to push an Anthony Ogogo over a CM Punk, over a Daniel Bryan, over a Brian Cage, over a Ricky Starks. You're not. You're not. You're not. So at the end of the day, Cody hasn't buried anyone. He put over Jericho. He put over MJF. He put over Malachi Black twice. He put over Brody Lee. He put over Darby Allin. He put over Scorpio Sky at Revolution. He put over fucking Shaq on Dynamite. So why exactly are we in a scenario where we are saying that Cody buries talent? He doesn't. On top of that, Cody has not been overexposed. He hasn't been overexposed because of the simple fact that he's taken numerous amounts of breaks here and there. So how could Cody be overexposed? Cody is being booed, and I'm going to tell you this right now. Cody is being booed because he's boring. And what does that mean? I'll tell you what that means. Cody's been being booed because he's boring, because when he first started in AEW, when he was doing his thing in AEW, Cody was the only guy that really stuck out. He stuck out amongst the crowd in AEW. He was at the top of the fan hierarchy, and that entrance and his character was relatable, and it was cool. But when all of these other individuals started to come in, and the young guys started working their way up the rankings, who exactly are you going to cheer for? The fan hierarchy is much different, and new individuals made their way into AEW, and Cody's character just kind of fell flat. You can only do the same thing over and over again before the fans get tired of it. So at the end of the day, who are you going to cheer for? Who are you going to cheer for? Are you going to cheer for Cody, or are you going to cheer for Malachi Black? Are you going to cheer for Cody, or are you going to cheer for Andrade? Cody or Punk? Cody or Bryan? Cody or Jungle Boy? Cody or Darby? Cody or Sammy Guevara? Cody or Miro? It's quite simple. Cody has been doing the same thing over and over again to a point where he's stale. And all of these other individuals that have been coming in, they have been taking Cody's spot on the fan hierarchy, which at some point was going to happen. Cody's not being booed because he buries talent or he overexposes himself. He's being booed because his character is repetitive, flat, and boring. Simple. He doesn't deserve the hate that he gets, but that's why he's getting it. Now, the match itself here between Dante Martin, Matt Sydal, Lee Johnson, and Cody Rhodes. This was a very good match. Cody was obviously frustrated by the boos and the Cody sucks chants. Matt Sydal and Cody had a nice sequence before Matt Sydal took out Cody with a knee. Lee Johnson took out Sydal. Dante Martin with a huge tope con hero taking out Cody and Lee Johnson. Sydal then isolated Johnson. He came back with a drop kick. Cody got the tag with a snap power slam on Dante for a 2. Hurricane Rana on Cody. We had a disaster kick on Seidel. Vertebreaker by Cody for 2. Dante Martin with a big missile drop kick on Cody for a 2 and a big moonsault. But Cody kicked out. Johnson then pulled Cody to his corner and made the tag. He took out Seidel. Roll up on Johnson for a 2. Johnson then with a knee drop, cross-legged brainbuster. And Lee Johnson got the 1, 2, 3. So Lee Johnson, he got the win. Good win for Lee Johnson. Very good match. Cody's clearly frustrated. Tony Schiavone then came in for an interview. This was great right here. Cody asked for Malachi Black, but Arn told Cody to stop talking. He goes, since Malachi has come into our lives, he has systematically destroyed us. You came back and rolled out to check on me. To hell with me. You should have finished that fight, said Arn Anderson. But I'm too damn old. I would have taken the fight, but I'm too damn old. But one thing that separates me from you is that when someone rolls up to you on a red light and someone opens your car door and says, get out, I'm taking your car, you go, okay, take it, just don't hurt me. If someone does that to me, I pull out the Glock, point it at that sumbitch's head and blow his brains out because I'm Arn Anderson. One thing I would not do is coach a loser. Come on, Lee Johnson, at least you listen to me. This was fucking fantastic. And I mean fantastic. Loved every minute of it. This was great. I absolutely loved how Arn Anderson just completely excommunicated Cody. And this right here, this is brilliant because this is a catalyst. Arn Anderson's going to be the catalyst for the Cody heel turn. And when Cody inevitably turns heel because of what they're doing here, it is going to be fucking epic. And the matches that Cody's going to have, I'm telling you, it is going to be must see. You are not going to want to miss out on what AEW is doing with a heel Cody. It's going to be great. This was an excellent promo. The promo work on Dynamite this week was excellent, if you haven't watched it. Jon Moxley, Eddie Kingston, and Darby Allin, they took on Anthony Green and Bear Country. Bear Country slowly coming along. Anthony Green, I'm glad that Anthony Green got his showcase here on Dynamite. We had a big brawl to start off the match. Moxley then tagged in. Bear Country took it to him. Anthony Green tagged in. Darby with a coffin drop onto Bear Country. Green failed at taking out Moxley and Kingston. They no-sold the crossbody. Then they hit Violent Crown for the win. Moxley, Kingston, and Darby win. And then afterwards, Sting dropped Anthony Green with a Scorpion Death Drop. Pretty typical showcase right here for Moxley, Kingston, and Darby. I don't see this trio remaining a trio for very long. Matter of fact, I actually see Moxley as an opponent for Malachi Black. Moxley's absolutely going to be an opponent for Malachi Black. It's either him or Kingston. Malachi Black's going to move on to someone else. I would love to see Moxley and Black as an undercard match. And then we're going to see Darby Allin. I can absolutely see Darby Allin now. He's going to go into a feud with MJF. He's going into a feud with MJF, and that's going to be a great undercard feud for Full Gear. Darby, he can take a loss. He's bulletproof. He's not going to be any less over. Darby and MJF is going to be a great fucking match, I'm telling you. 16-man tag. You did not hear me stutter. You did not hear me stutter. Orange Cassidy and the Dark Order took on the Hardy Family Office. Listen, the crowd made this better than it was. The crowd absolutely made this better than it was. But if we're going to be real right here, this entire thing was unnecessary. This entire match was unnecessary, no matter if it was in tribute to Brody. Because at the end of the day, matches like this, they're just not visually appearing. They're not visually appealing. Matches like this usually end up as a clusterfuck. And at the end of the day, it's completely fucking irrelevant. So, listen, I didn't mind it this one time because it was in tribute to Brody. But at the end of the day, shit like this, I think it's best that we keep these types of matches off of AEW television, because matches like this really leave a bad taste in my mouth and a lot of the viewers' mouths. No more matches like this, please. So, we got a thank you Brody chant going. Thank you Brody chant going. We got a big brawl coming back from commercial. The Dark Order had some miscommunication. Cassidy tagged in. He had a lazy splash for a 2. Evil Uno then walked off. All of a sudden, -1 brought out Brody Lee's wife, Amanda Huber. And that got a huge crowd pop. And then Grayson and Reynolds and Cabana, they were all hitting dives on the Hardy family office. Everybody got their shit in, their big spots in. John Silver lit up everybody. Then all of a sudden we had a big spine buster by 10, the orange punch to Matt Hardy, a big combo by Silver and Reynolds, and then the fatality by Stu Grayson and Evil Uno, and we inevitably get the Dark Order winning. The crowd actually made this much better than it was, but it was still unnecessary. We did not need this. We didn't need the Jon Moxley, Eddie Kingston, Darby Allin match either. I don't know why we had that match. Lio Rush is All Elite. Excellent, 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 excellent signing. I cannot wait to see Lio Rush in an AEW ring. It is going to be fantastic. Whoever he feuds with, I'm telling you, it is going to be must-see television. And I genuinely hope that they put him in there with a guy like Malachi Black, potentially Andrade. I would love to see Lio Rush and Andrade. I think they could put on a fucking classic. I'd love to see that. Dan Lambert and Men of the Year, they were out there, and they had a great promo. This was a great promo right here with Men of the Year and Dan Lambert. They hyped up their victory last week over the Inner Circle, and we have Dan Lambert saying, "You jerkers will never again swing on the balls of Jericho." So obviously a little shade there at the Chris Jericho marks. Scorpio Sky said, "I was one of the first champions here, and I have one of the best winning percentages." You know who was paying attention? Dan Lambert was paying attention. Scorpio Sky then took the microphone and he goes, "You don't think we are tough because we don't swear or paint our faces? You know what's tough? Having 2 black belts in karate and having the tightest tits in the game. We roll with champions. Men of the Year and American Top Team are the top team." Very, very, very good promo. I'm liking Men of the Year. I'm really liking Men of the Year. I think they got a great aura about them. And I'm telling you right now, Men of the Year, I'm telling you, they could very well be in top contention for a tag team title opportunity. I'd love to see Men of the Year versus the Lucha Bros. I'd love to see it. Go for it. Men of the Year versus Lucha Bros. I think that's great. Next week, we also got Serena Deeb versus Hikarushita. Shida is looking for her 50th win in AEW, and I absolutely do believe it is going to come at the hands of Serena Deeb. Anna Jay and Ty Conti, they had a match against Penelope Ford and the Bunny. Decent little match, nothing crazy here. I didn't really give a shit. So, Ty Conti, she got the hot tag with a big super kick to Ford, crossbody. We had a tag to Anna, double suplex. The Bunny saved it. We had a stunner by Ford, a gut buster for a 2. Ford then missed the moonsault. Ty Conti with the Ty KO. And then Anna Jay with the Queen Slayer, and Penelope Ford passed out. Afterwards, -1. -1 getting all the fucking woman. I think Ty Conti's single. If Ty Conti is single, If Ty Conti is single, I don't know. Miss Conti, if you are single, hit me up. I mean, the Stormsmeister, there's always room. There's always room in the DJ Storms posse for, the Brazilian chicks. I have a soft spot in my heart for Brazilian chicks. All right? Anyway, on Rampage, we got Orange Cassidy versus Jack Evans, hair versus hair. Nyla Rose versus Jade Cargill versus Thunder Rosa, no DQ match. And then we got Nick Jackson versus Bryan Danielson on Rampage. MJF, he was unadvertised for the show, and he cut a promo. He says, cut my music. I want this company to be successful, and we are on the verge of history. We got 4 pillars, and I love this from MJF. He goes, Jungle Boy, I beat him. Sammy Guevara, I beat him. Darby Allin, whatever. And then there's the pillar that's better than you, and you know it. Without me, this company ain't shit. I deserve to be AEW World Champion. Tony, I love you, but if you don't start giving me the opportunity I deserve, I have a friend, and his name is Bruce Pritchard, and I got him on speed dial. CM Punk, on commentary, being the witty guy that he is, he goes, everybody's got Bruce Pritchard on speed dial, so, it's nothing special. I thought that was a great one-liner by Punk. MJF is fantastic. All of a sudden, Darby Allin comes out, and he took the mic, and MJF cut him off, and he goes, you know, as much as I love the whole school shooter mime on a skateboard stuff, I think you're a little jealous of me. You know that I am greater than you. But there's nothing wrong with being a number 2 pillar. You know a number 2 pillar by the name of Sting. So Darby goes, you know, you keep saying you're going to leave. Just go. I don't care. I am AEW for life until death. You know, how can you be the number 1 pillar when I've been the only one between the two of us to win a championship? MJF goes, sick burn, Darby, but here's the thing, you're straight edge, and that's admirable. But you know why Darby Allin is straight edge, people? Because he got into a car with his sloppy, alcoholic uncle, and you got yourself into a little accident, and your uncle died, and it was a tragedy because on that night, the wrong man died. Oh, Maxwell Jacob Friedman, you're making it very hard for me to hate you. I cannot hate on Maxwell Jacob Friedman when he's pulling out shit like that. Maxwell Jacob Friedman is fantastic. But anyway, so afterwards, Darby Allin closed his eyes, took a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Deep breath in, deep breath out. And he goes, you're not going to break me mentally. Keep talking. MJF then goes, you know what? We're done here. Excellent, 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 excellent segment. Loved every minute of it. And this was a picture-perfect way to end the segments for the night. I loved it. MJF is a savage. This is going to be a great undercard match, and this is going to build up MJF to inevitably take the World Championship off of a babyface Adam Hangman Page. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. Cannot wait to see Adam Page and Kenny Omega at Full Gear. And I do believe that Adam Page is going to be the Joker card, or the Joker, the Joker in the Casino Ladder match. That's going to be great. And also next week, we got the Elite versus Bryan Danielson, Christian Cage, and Jurassic Express. Good stuff there. Good stuff. Sammy Guevara versus Miro. This was for the TNT Championship. Miro, he wore down Sammy. Sammy then tried to fight back. Sammy went for a shooting star. Miro caught him mid-shooting star and gave him a belly-to-belly. Miro systematically wore down Sammy coming back from commercial. We then had Miro hitting a big German suplex on Sammy. Sammy then came back with a beautiful Spanish fly, a standing Spanish fly, which looked great. Then we got a big super kick and a shining wizard. Miro then sent himself over the top rope. Miro with a big Fosby flop over the post onto Miro, a la Ricochet. Miro then came back with a spinning side slam for a 2. Miro then with a super kick. He missed it. And then Sammy Guevara hit a couple of rising knee strikes and then an enziguri. Miro then went for a superplex. Guevara fought back. We had a big diving cutter by Sammy. Sammy went for the GTH, but Miro He fought out of it and hit a super kick for a close near fall. Sammy rolled out of the ring before Miro started taking the turnbuckle pads off. And Sammy Guevara, he took advantage as Fuego del Sol came out. He was dropped by a right hand by Miro. And then Miro was sent into the buckle after a rising knee. And I loved this right here. You know it wasn't just going to take one move to put away Miro. It wasn't just going to take one move to put away Miro. Sammy Guevara hit 3 big consecutive moves back to back to back. The Tornado DDT, the Go to Hospital, and the 630 Senton back to back to back. And he won the TNT Championship in a great match to end AEW Dynamite. The rise of Sammy Guevara has been a beautiful thing to see. I have loved everything about Sammy Guevara and how he has just organically risen to the top. It has been one of the best things to see. And I did not think that Sammy Guevara would be this over as a babyface because he's got a stereotypical pretty boy heel look. But MJF was able to get him over as a babyface, and that was great. That was great. It was excellent. My only criticism, I have one criticism about this match. It should have happened at Full Gear. That's my only criticism. Other than that, everything worked out great. I just feel as though it should have been at Full Gear in front of a bigger audience. But you know what? Maybe they have something bigger planned for Full Gear for Sammy. I know that Sammy, he's going to have a really, 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 really big championship reign with the TNT Championship. And the TNT Championship, Sammy Guevara is going to do that title well. Sammy's going to do that title well. And I'm very, very happy to see Sammy as the TNT champion. The rise of Sammy Guevara has been a beautiful thing to see. And Sammy Guevara, he's a made man. And well done by Miro. Miro's done a great job. Where does Miro go now? Well, I can see Miro getting a few more wins behind him. And I can see Miro being Adam Page's first challenger after Page inevitably takes the world championship off of Omega. That's what I see happening. See what happens down the line. But that's what I can see happening. NXT UK. We're going to go over that in just a little bit. But Dynamite was an excellent show, minus a few things here and there. The 16-man tag, completely unnecessary, didn't need to happen. Darby, Moxley, and Kingston versus Anthony Green and Bear Country didn't need to happen. It is what it is there. I see some people saying that me dressing up as MJF for Halloween last year, that was great. That was great. And you know what? I am very, very happy that I was able to entertain you guys last year on Halloween. When is Halloween this year? Is it a Sunday? Halloween is a Sunday. Danielle says, I make MJF look better. I'm not sure Mr. Maxwell Jacob Friedman would appreciate that, but Jesse Callan Corner is also in the chat. Jesse, if you have not already liked the video, please make sure you like the video. It is vital. So we got 20 likes, actually. We were able to reach our goal, and I want to thank everyone for helping us reach the goal. I think that we could very well get to 30 likes if you guys continue to share the stream out. So thank you very much for sticking by me. We got 3 more shows to go over, and we're going to talk about NXT UK. We'll talk about the WWE Draft. We're going to talk about Rampage, and then we're going to get the hell on out of here. Because I know that a lot of people, they got other stuff to do. I know that other people have been wanting to just relax. I want to relax too. I'm going to go eat dinner after this. But it's been a great stream so far, people. It's been an excellent stream, even though I've had kind of a off day. I've been pretty tired as well. But it's been a great stream thus far, and I greatly appreciate each and every single one of you sticking by me. Yes, I do watch a lot of wrestling, Mr. Hooligram. I do. I do watch a lot of wrestling. And you know why? Because I'm the best. I'm the best to ever do it. So NXT UK was actually a pretty solid show. We actually got some great stuff with NXT UK. We got a great tag team match between Mustache Mountain, Ashton Smith, and Oliver Carter. A-Kid and Ilya Dragunov, they had a little face-to-face confrontation before their NXT UK title match in 2 weeks. So Mustache Mountain, Ashton Smith, and Oliver Carter kicked off the show. Both teams went back and forth a little early. 7 then slapped Smith down, and then he hit a one-armed powerbomb on Oliver Carter, and then the Emerald Frozen for a 2. We had a double reverse Pele kick by Oliver Carter, and then Tyler Bate then got hit with an axe kick. That got a 2 count. Bate then rolled up Smith for a close 2 count. We then got the Jobber faction, Symbiosis, who I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit about them. They're a Jobber faction. They came out. Bate and Seven stood face-to-face with them before Jack Stars and Dave Mastiff came out to attack Smith. Or to attack Symbiosis. Smith and Carter with double dives onto the pile, which looked like they didn't even fucking connect. It did not look good. It looked like a big cluster. Carter then with a big super kick to Bate, but he kicked out. Seven then with a Snapdragon suplex on the floor to Oliver Carter. Bate then with an elevated German suplex, and then they hit the springboard clothesline Dragon suplex combo for the win. This was a very good tag team match to kick off NXT UK, and Mustache Mountain, they could very well be building up Mustache Mountain for a rematch with Pretty Deadly. And I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, I do believe that we could very well see fans back in NXT UK soon. And if that's the case, they're waiting for fans to be back in NXT UK to give Mustache Mountain that NXT UK Tag Team title win. I definitely would not mind seeing that. Amelia McKenzie and Ginny had a backstage confrontation. Amelia is still working with Mako, and I can see her being the next challenger. Danny Luna versus Zaya Brookside. Luna and Brookside had a decent little match right here. I actually like what Danny Luna is doing. Danny Luna is actually coming along very, very nicely as a powerhouse. So Luna dumped Brookside face first onto the mat. We had a big vertical suplex for a 2 before Zaya mounted a comeback. We had a double meteor and a running neck breaker for a 2. They traded strikes. Luna then with a front slam and a fallaway slam. We had a fireman's carry powerbomb for the win by Danny Luna. And then afterwards, Luna went for a handshake. Luna went for a handshake, but Brookside slapped it away. So could we be seeing a heel turn by Zaya Brookside? I would not mind that, because Zaya Brookside's babyface character, it's a bit stale. Stevie Turner, she went to Sid Scala and she demanded that Blair Davenport, a.k.a. B. Priestley, be reinstated, and she wants a match with her. So I can see Blair Davenport as the next NXT UK Women's Champion, because Blair Davenport is fucking great. Josh Morrell versus Charlie Dempsey. And Charlie Dempsey is William Regal's son, for those of you that were not aware. Charlie Dempsey is indeed William Regal's son. This actually was a very good showcase. I wasn't really expecting much from this match, but Charlie Dempsey is actually a very good technical wrestler. Josh Morrell is very, very fun to watch. I'm not even lying. Josh Morrell is very, very fun to watch. We got Dempsey working a very, very technical style. He was moving very, very swiftly. Dempsey and Morrell traded pinfalls back and forth. Morrell then tried to mount the comeback. Dempsey with a gut-wrench suplex for a 2. Dempsey then with a bridging German suplex for a 2. Josh Morrell was then locked in a headlock calf crusher combination. Like, Dempsey had the headlock locked in, and then he bent the leg back in a reverse calf crusher position. I'm telling you, it looked brutal. He was stretching him out, and Josh Morrell ended up tapping out. I would not want to be locked in that by Mr. Charlie Dempsey, but I actually liked what they did right there. And Charlie Dempsey, listen, he looks green. He looks very, very standard, but I think that in due time, he'll come around. You know, he's William Regal's son. I'm pretty sure he will formulate some sort of character. I think that a heel turn would be in his best interests. Also, I don't really know why they're calling him Charlie Dempsey. Why can't they just call him Charlie Regal? Why not go based off of William Regal's name? I don't know. It's a question that I'm pretty sure will never be answered. Kind of like how Rex Steiner was named Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker. Raquel Bloom was named Von Wagner. Who the fuck's coming up with these names? Von Wagner, T-Bar, T-Balls, Disgrace, Mace. We had fucking Braun Breaker. Then we got Reckoning. Then we got Slapjack. Then we got Doudrop. Who's coming up with these names? But Charlie Dempsey didn't look half bad. AEW fan, I'll be talking about Rampage in a little bit, so you've come to the right place here, AEW fan. That is my name. My name is DJ Storms, as you can see right there. DJ Storms, baby. So, we had a sit-down. We had a sit-down with Ilya Dragunov and A-Kid. And they had a face-to-face, and this was a very good face-to-face right here. Ilya Dragunov says, "I'm the only one that understands you." And A-Kid said, "And when I became the first ever NXT UK Heritage Cup champion, I felt the pressure, and I needed to create a legacy. I need to take the NXT United Kingdom Championship." So Ilya goes, "I just beat the most dominant champion of the modern era. He destroyed me, but I came back. So please, don't be naive." A-Kid then said, "It's not about the pain or the will. It's about making mistakes. And when you lose your temper, just like you're doing right now," and Ilya Dragunov was trying to calm himself down, "when you lose your temper, just like you do now, I will catch you. And I will give you 3 options. You either tap, snap, or nap." Ilya then goes, "Listen, this is very easy. It doesn't matter what tricks you pull out of your pocket. This title needs pain. It needs struggle. It needs the will. You gotta be more than just a human. And in 2 weeks, I need to put you in your place. I'm the czar, and you are just a kid." So nice little dig there by Ilya Dragunov. Why aren't we seeing more of these? These face-to-face confrontations are excellent. We need to see more of these. We need to see more of these, and we need to see more of these now. So then afterwards, they shook hands. Awesome. Next week, we actually got a pretty decent show. We got Ginny versus Amelia McKenzie. Noam Dar versus Wolfgang in the NXT UK Heritage Cup #1 Contenders Tournament Finals. And then Sam Gradwell will take on Mark Andrews. And then in 2 weeks, we got A-Kid versus Ilya Dragunov for the NXT United Kingdom Championship. Should be great. Main event. Good match, but a stupid fucking ending right here between Jordan Devlin and Joe Coffey. Both men traded technical holds and counters early on. Coffey with some body punches. Devlin got bounced by Coffey. Devlin then came back with a backstabber. Devlin then with a hip toss for a 2. Coffey then came back with a hip toss of his own. Devlin with a Uranagi and a standing moonsault. He then mocked the Gallus pose. Coffey then with a big belly-to-belly suplex, a German suplex, and both men are down. Coffey then with a springboard crossbody for a 2. Coffey then was caught with a Spanish fly by Jordan Devlin for a 2. Beautiful-looking Spanish fly. Mark Coffey distracted Devlin while Wolfgang held Coffey back as Devlin went to grab Coffey. Coffey then hit the Glasgow send-off, and then Orabest for the bells, and then Coffey wins. Stupid ending. Baby faces using heel tactics. I don't know what I'm fucking watching at this rate, but who am I? Who am I? I'm a nobody. But Joe Coffey gets the win over Jordan Devlin. I actually don't mind Jordan Devlin losing. The ending was just stupid. I don't mind Jordan Devlin losing because if Jordan Devlin keeps on getting this momentum, you're going to have to put him against Ilya Dragunov immediately. And Ilya Dragunov right now, he should not be losing the championship. Ilya Dragunov is about to have a big-time run with the NXT United Kingdom Championship. But that was NXT UK. Pretty solid show. We got 2 more shows to go over, and then we're going to get on out of here. DD, if you're tired, you can go. I know a lot of people are tired. I know a lot of people need to get some food, get some dinner, or get some rest. DD, if you're tired, you can go. I have no problem with you going. But, hey, you make your own choice. You make your own choice there. I don't want anyone to feel like they have to stay. I'm just doing what I normally do over here. So, I hope that everyone is having a good night. And again, I would like to thank each and every single one of you once again for sticking with me. You guys have been excellent. You guys have been excellent from day one, and I can't thank you guys enough for... Oh, you're staying. There you go. There you go. She's staying, people, because she can't get enough of DJ Storms, baby. She can't get enough of it. She can't get enough of it. But we got 2 more shows to go over. And we are going to go over the WWE Draft. We're going over the WWE Draft, night number 1. Night number 1 for the WWE Draft. Night number 2 is going to be taking place on Monday for Monday Night Snore. We'll see what happens there, but we're going to go over night number 1, which took place on SmackDown. Night number 1 took place on SmackDown, so strap in, people, because I got some shit to talk about. Yeah, baby. Just had to throw that in there. SmackDown. WWE Draft Night 1. We are going to go over all of the draft picks, why they made sense, why they didn't make sense. We're going to go over which draft picks were a complete waste, and which draft picks were difference makers, and which draft picks are completely fucking embarrassing. So the show kicked off with Sonya Deville and Adam Pearce coming out to begin the draft. I don't understand why Sonya Deville is still a WWE official. We're going on 10 months as a WWE official. Unbelievable. So they came out. SmackDown got the first draft pick. I'm assuming it's because it's the A show now. It's the A show now because of Fox. But we didn't get that explanation as to why SmackDown got the first draft pick. We didn't even get a match between a Raw and a SmackDown superstar to decide whether or not we are going to get the first draft pick. So SmackDown selected Roman Reigns. I don't understand why the champions were drafted. It's fucking stupid. Roman Reigns was drafted to SmackDown. Big E got drafted to Raw. Charlotte fucking Flair. So now, instead of fuck Charlotte Flair on Mondays, we're going with fuck Charlotte Flair on Fridays. Charlotte Flair got drafted to SmackDown. She is the Raw Women's Champion. And then Bianca Belair got drafted to Raw. Bianca's getting drafted to Raw. I had a feeling because Raw needs someone as legit as Bianca Belair. Here's what I want to know, though. Apparently, Charlotte Flair got drafted to SmackDown because the Fox executives wanted Charlotte Flair. Right? Fox executives wanted Charlotte Flair. But why exactly is Charlotte Flair the Raw Women's Champion? Because I know for a fact that this hasn't been going on for what? A week or 2 weeks? This hasn't been going on for a week or 2 weeks. This has got to stem back months ago. Fox probably pitched the idea when the WWE had rumblings and rumors about a draft. When did we hear the draft rumors? June? July? That's when we heard the draft rumors? If we heard the draft rumors then why is Charlotte Flair the Raw Women's Champion if back then, I would like to assume, back then was when Fox started asking for Charlotte, and then WWE scrambled to come up with a draft. If Fox has been asking for Charlotte Flair for months now, why exactly did Charlotte Flair win the Raw Women's Championship? Why couldn't you have kept it on Rhea Ripley to then transfer it to Shayna Baszler, who would have won Money in the Bank and cashed it in a dominant heel fashion on Rhea Ripley at SummerSlam. Why is Charlotte Flair the Raw Women's Champion if Fox wanted Charlotte Flair for a decent amount of time now? You shouldn't have even given her the Raw Women's Championship. It's fucking stupid. It's stupid. Bianca Belair is completely buried, and on Raw, it's going to further solidify her burial. Goodbye, Bianca Belair. Roman Reigns and Big E, complete waste of draft picks. No reason why the champions should be drafted unless you're the Intercontinental or the United States champion. I was about to say SmackDown United States champion. United States champion and Intercontinental champion should be the only champions drafted. Roman Reigns then came out to start the show. After the first round of draft picks, Roman Reigns goes, "We are the ones because I'm number one. Baltimore, acknowledge me." Heyman then takes the mic. Crowd was chanting Roman, and he goes, "That's not loud enough for your tribal chief," which was actually a very nice line right there. So he hyped up Roman's victory at Extreme Rules, and he promised that Brock Lesnar was going to face the suplexorcist, Roman Reigns. Brock Lesnar's music then hit. He came out, climbed into the ring. He stood face to face with Roman, and then Roman struck Lesnar first. Lesnar then took over with some suplexes. The Usos came out. Lesnar took it to the Usos too. Roman teased getting back into the ring, but he walked off as Lesnar gave Jimmy and Jay both F5s. Good promo to start off the show. And I would say that Heyman is doing a very good job booking this storyline. However, the long-winded promo from Roman Reigns, it's very, very typical. Some people are even saying that Roman Reigns is boring. People are saying that Roman Reigns is boring. And it's not that Roman Reigns is boring. It's the fact that Roman Reigns has become all too predictable. Roman Reigns has become all too predictable, and Roman Reigns has become all too formulaic in this heel character. And on top of that, you're only as good as the people that you work with. And Roman Reigns has not had people that are on his level to work with. You're pretty much running through everyone. Everyone in WWE feels the same, and everyone in WWE feels inferior to Roman Reigns. So at the end of the day, why are we going to care? Why exactly are we going to care? But the promo was good. The promo itself was good. If it wasn't for Roman and Lesnar, the entire show would be terrible. Kevin Owens took on Happy Corbin with Madcap Moss. That's his new roadie now. I don't even understand why. And to be quite honest with you, they are coming off like the male version of the Iconics, and we do not need another resurrection of the Iconics. We don't. Here's another thing I want to know. Why is Corbin wrestling in street clothes? What is it with WWE? What is with WWE always having one or two wrestlers? They always do this. They give a wrestler a character and they have a wrestler wrestle in a suit or fucking street clothes. What is the fucking point? What is the point? It's so fucking stupid. It's so fucking stupid. Why is Baron Corbin wrestling in street clothes? Why can't we just have Corbin wrestle in normal wrestling gear? It looks retarded. So coming back from commercial, Owens with a tornado DDT for a 2. Corbin with a deep 6 for a 2. Owens then with a super kick barrage and a cannonball for a 2. Corbin then with the end of days outside the ring. Michael Cole called it Happy Days. Owens was then put back into the ring and then was given a second end of days for the win. And Happy Corbin gets the win. Baron Corbin looks like he's staying in a stationary position. I'm sorry. And this was what I was afraid of. He was doing something decent. But Baron Corbin is not going anywhere with this gimmick. Why? Because WWE refuses to evolve the gimmick. They refuse to elevate him to that next level. And at the end of the day, he's going to be nothing more than a fucking mid-carder. Matter of fact, I would even make Happy Corbin and Madcap Moss a tag team because they need fucking tag teams. They were drafted together, so I would make them a fucking tag team. But at the end of the fucking day, Happy Corbin and this character, it's already becoming stale. It's already becoming repetitive, and it's already becoming stagnant. Baron Corbin has already hit his ceiling with this gimmick. And that's not on him, that's on WWE. And then Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens is as good as gone. If Kevin Owens ends up re-signing a new deal, I would be dead shocked. If Kevin Owens ends up re-signing a new deal. This company has done everything in their power to showcase to you that they do not give a single shit about Kevin Owens, and they do not value him whatsoever. If Kevin Owens re-signs, I'd be jaw to the floor shocked. And to be quite honest, I would lose a bit of respect for him. Kevin Owens is as good as gone. He's gone. He's got to be. He's going to be AEW very, very soon. Rob Wells Jr., I have to highlight this. You're damn right. Read it. I'm the head of the table. I'm the motherfucking tribal chief. I'm the tribal fucking chief of the wrestling community. And you will all acknowledge me. Thank you, Mr. Rob Wells Jr. King of the Ring and the Queen's Crown Tournament. They were both announced starting next week. And I honestly couldn't give a shit. Because to be quite honest with you, I legitimately expect the winners to just get royalty gimmicks. Unless they give the winners title shots, I don't give a shit. So, we then had the next round of draft picks starting for SmackDown. Drew McIntyre drafted to SmackDown. Excellent. I can see Drew McIntyre and Roman Reigns having a program very, very soon. Raw selected RK Bro. Good pick. SmackDown selected Kofi and Woods, The New Day. Unfortunately, I am not looking forward to another New Day Usos match. Matter of fact, we did get some more draft picks on Talking Smack earlier today, which I'm going to go over in a little bit. But I would not have the New Day take titles off the Usos. I'm not looking forward to that inevitable match. But the New Day are going to SmackDown. Stupid. And then afterwards, we get Raw selecting Edge. Good. That's a good pick for them, and I think that Edge would be a great fit on Raw, and he would fit perfectly against Big E for the WWE Championship. Speaking of Edge then came out to speak to Rollins. He took the microphone. He says, "Thank you, Baltimore. That's why this is the best job in the world, and I'm actually the only talent that was ever on the first episode of SmackDown." He called out Seth Rollins, and he said, "Seth Rollins, you all saw that Seth hit the stomp on me, and then he challenged me to another match. He walks in with an advantage right out of the gate. But I'm on my way to 100%, and I'm standing here, Seth. Get out here." Seth Rollins then came up on the screen, and he's saying, "I didn't believe you were going to come to SmackDown. The big problem is I'm not at SmackDown." So he brought the cameraman, and he showed a little wooden house, and it said Copeland. So he was at Edge's house. And this was actually great. So he opens the door. It was actually unlocked. Rollins goes, even though you live in the middle of nowhere, you should really lock your door. So he's calling for Beth, and he was relishing in his work. He then raided Edge's fridge. He was eating apples and drinking OJ. And then Seth looked at Edge's daughter's artwork, and he goes, "That's the girl's artwork? Man, that's rotten. They definitely don't have a future in art." Rollins then goes walking through the house. He's dancing through the house. He's going do-do-do-do-do, dancing through the house. He goes into the lounge area. He spots a picture of Edge and his daughters. He goes, man, your daughters are gorgeous. They get their good looks from Beth, obviously. So then he sits down at the lounge chair, is eating the apple, and then he turns around and he presses the electronic fireplace. I actually got an electronic fireplace going right over there. But he presses the electronic fireplace, right? And he's saying and he's singing to himself, I could stay here all night. So he's just relishing in his work. Edge then calls Beth Phoenix and he tells her to go to her brothers. And he mentions FTR, Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler by their real names. And he's going to say, he's sending them to go take care of Rollins. This was fantastic. I thought that this was great. This right here, Edge and Rollins, this feud has probably been the best main roster feud in WWE all year. This has been the best main roster feud that WWE has ever produced all year. Edge and Rollins, I'm telling you right now, if they deliver another great match in Saudi Arabia for Crown Jewel, I'm going to tell you right now, this feud will have ended perfectly. It would have ended on a fucking perfect fucking note. I absolutely fucking love the work that Seth Rollins and Edge are doing. Rollins, you know what Rollins dancing through the house reminded me of? Rollins dancing through the house, it legitimately reminded me of Joker when Joaquin Phoenix was dancing down that stairwell in the ghetto. Rollins legitimately reminded me of Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, dancing through the house. He's a fucking sociopath. I love it. It's great. This was awesome. And this is going to even further double down on Rollins' big-time heel heat. This was great. Liv Morgan and Carmella, I'll tell you that was not great, Liv Morgan and Carmella. We had some tech crew members put a face mask on Carmella, and the crowd was chanting, "You look stupid." Indeed, she does. The match never happened, and Carmella dropped Liv with a face buster. This was fucking terrible. I don't understand why we needed this match. Where is Toni Storm? Where's Toni Storm? She hasn't done jack shit on SmackDown. Round 3 of the WWE draft began. SmackDown selected Corbin and Madcap Moss. Raw selected Rhea Ripley and Nikki Trash. SmackDown selected Hit Row, Shit Row, and Raw selected Keith Bearcat Lee. Keith, Wildcats everywhere, wave your hands up in the air, Lee. Keith, soaring flying, there ain't a star in heaven that we can't reach, Lee. Keith, Wildcats in the house, Lee. Keith Lee, I was hoping he was going to get drafted to SmackDown. He was not drafted to SmackDown. I didn't really give a shit about that. I'm pretty sure that they're probably building up Keith Lee to probably face a babyface Big E. If Keith Lee is indeed going forth with a heel turn, we'll have to wait and see. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure. But we got Hit Row. Let's talk about Hit Row. I do not know where to even begin. Hit Row legitimately formed 5 months ago. They barely even got their feet wet in NXT. Why did they call Hit Row up? Is it because of Hit Row being set in motion for a big-time push? No. Did Hit Row get called up because Hit Row is going to make a difference? No. Did Hit Row get called up because they were ready? No. Hit Row got called up because Hit Row appeals to the younger mainstream audience that WWE is oh so desperately trying to cling on. This was a desperation move for ratings in the mainstream level of audiences. This was a desperation attempt to cling on to that 18 to 34 demographic and try and bring more of those people in. That's the only reason why Hit Row was called up. And this was a terrible fucking move. Isaiah Swerve Scott didn't even get a proper reign as North American champion. He hasn't even defended that title once. They've been building towards Hit Row and Legado del Fantasma, Santos, and Isaiah Swerve Scott. He hasn't defended that title once. And you're already calling him up? What about Ashante the Adonis? I can't see him lasting. I can't even see B-Fab lasting. Which, by the way, Sonya Deville, I'm not sure what she's been fucking smoking, but Sonya Deville, I'm not sure if she's dyslexic. I'm not sure if she's smoking Matt Riddle's blunt. But Sonya Deville is botching names left and right. She called Nikki ASH, Nikki AHS, and then she called B-Fab, Fab B. I'm not sure what's going on with Sonya Deville, but some ain't wired correctly. But that's besides the point. Ashante the Adonis and Top Dollar, they should have been in the tag team division focusing on the tag team titles. They should have been developing wins. They should have been developing wins and evolving as a whole. Top Dollar is not ready. He's coming along, but he's not ready. Neither is B-Fab. She has had 2 fucking matches in NXT. Now you're calling her up? Are you serious? And Swerve has not even gotten a proper run with the North American Championship, and you're calling him up. At this rate, all I'm seeing is another sanity. We're going to see all of these individuals released before one of them is all that's left, and one of them's going to get a shitty fucking superhero gimmick like Nikki Trash. And people are so fucking stupid that they don't even fucking understand that this shit is going to be the death of them. How can you trust Vince McMahon with anything at all, if he couldn't get Aleister Black right, Andrade right, he couldn't get fucking Keith Lee right, he hasn't gotten Kevin Owens right, he hasn't gotten Sami Zayn right, he passed up on Pac, he passed up on fucking Thunder Rosa, and they wanted to make her a fucking referee. A fucking referee! Meanwhile, she's one of the best pro wrestlers on the fucking planet. Hit Row is dead. Hit Row is in a scenario where they are going to be absolutely fucking neutered. If Hit Row is a growing pitbull, they are going to be absolutely fucking neutered, and they are going to be sent into the abyss of obscurity. Hit Row was brought up to SmackDown simply to cater to the mainstream demographic. And get this, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. When Vince and Bruce realize it's not going to work and their own failures can't be masked by yet another Triple H creation, you know what's going to happen? Buried. Terrible. And then we got Keith Wildcats in the house Lee. High School Musical Lee. Who gives a shit? I don't give a shit. You don't give a shit. Keith Lee is buried. If he wasn't buried then, he is certainly buried now, because he's got High School Musical vibes all around him. All he's missing is a fucking Wildcat hat. 8-man tag, Street Profits New Day versus the Dirty Dogs in Alpha Academy. Who gives a shit? New Day win with the Daybreak. Nothing special. 4th round of the WWE Draft. SmackDown selected Naomi. Naomi should be in top contention to win the Queen's Crown Tournament or the Women's Royal Rumble. Raw selected Rey and Dominic Mysterio. SmackDown selected Jeff Hardy. Good. A feud with Roman Reigns is going to be great. And then Raw selected Austin Theory. So I'd like to hope that Austin Theory is in good hands, because Austin Theory, he is a future star, a future main eventer. Austin Theory would be a nice pick to take the United States title off of Damien Priest. Brock Lesnar interrupted a Jeff Hardy interview And he says that he's a free agent thanks to Paul Heyman. Roman and Heyman and the Usos were sitting in the back. Heyman goes that he's the wise man. Roman yelled at him saying, "You're only the wise man when I say you're the wise man." And he demanded that Heyman go to Raw to ensure that his cousins get drafted to SmackDown. And then Roman, after Heyman left, he goes to the Usos and he goes, "If you don't get drafted to SmackDown, leave him dead on Raw." Good shit. Good shit. Banks and Belair, WrestleMania main event. A rematch. WrestleMania rematch in the main event. Becky Lynch came out to watch, and Becky Lynch's heel persona is fucking terrible. I barely paid attention to her commentary. I thought it was fucking horrendous. Becky Lynch and this heel turn is an absolute fucking failure, and it needs to end. I'd like to hope that Charlotte and Becky don't end up switching the titles. I'd actually like to hope that we probably get either Becky staying on SmackDown with the SmackDown Women's title, and Charlotte's going to move over to SmackDown after she loses the Raw Women's title. But I have a feeling that they're probably just going to swap the titles anyway. It's either that or Becky's going to move to Raw, and Sasha is going to stay on SmackDown and win back the championship. Which then it's only going to further double down on what they did. Why'd you even bother taking the title off of Sasha Banks at WrestleMania to begin with if you were not going to elevate Bianca and you were just going to have her lose in 30 seconds and then you were going to give Becky a token title win and a heel turn that was unnecessary only to put the title right back on Sasha? Terrible. The match was good, though. Match was good. Belair with a vertical suplex and a handspring moonsault for a 2. Sasha with a little bit of a botched tornado DDT for a 2. Sasha then came in with a frog splash for a 2. Bianca with an alley-oop face buster, that got a 2. Then we go to a big melee at ringside. Becky distracted Belair by pulling her braid. Sasha then rolled up. She rolled up Bianca for the win. And then Charlotte came out to cause a DQ. Good match. Terrible fucking ending. That was night 1 of the WWE draft. And then we got night 2 on Monday. That was pretty much that. Let's quickly go over Rampage. We got Bryan Danielson and Nick Jackson kicking off the show. This was a great match to kick off the show. Bryan Danielson with a missile drop kick. Nick Jackson regained control coming back from commercial. Bryan no-selled the yes kicks from Nick Jackson, which he was mocking Daniel Bryan with. Bryan then with a big lariat. Bryan then with some yes kicks for a 2. Nick Jackson with a super kick that got a 2 count. Bryan got the knees up on the 450. He locked in the label lock. Nick Jackson got to the ropes. Nick Jackson with another super kick and the Escalera plancha. Sharpshooter locked in, but Bryan got out of it. Nick accidentally kicked Brandon Cutler. Bryan with a German suplex on the floor. Matt Jackson caused a distraction. Nick Jackson nearly stole it off of a roll-up. Bryan then with some stiff elbow shots and the cattle mutilation. Nick Jackson taps out. Great match with Daniel Bryan and Nick Jackson. Afterwards, Christian Cage and Jurassic Express came out to stand with Bryan Danielson, and we get a big brawl with Jungle Boy locking in the snare trap on Cole and Omega getting locked in the label lock by Bryan, and they both tapped out. Great start to Rampage. Ricky Starks had a promo trashing Brian Cage, and he was in his mansion and driving a luxurious car. Good stuff, but I'd much rather see a match with Punk, and I do hope we're getting Ricky Starks versus CM Punk, because that would be a great match. Jade Cargill versus Nyla Rose versus Thunder Rosa. This was a decent match with a terrible fucking ending. Jade Cargill's coming along. Nyla Rose is always decent. And Thunder Rosa, she is really in top contention to take that title off of Britt Baker. The question is when. I don't know. Rosa tried for the early advantage. Nyla then dropped her. Cargill and Rose stood face to face. We had a big punt kick by Jade. Rosa then came off the top with a missile drop kick. Coming back from commercial, we had a trash can in the ring. We had a drop kick by Rosa, sending the trash can into Jade Cargill. Nyla then saved it. Jade then with a spine buster to Nyla, which looked great. Rosa then got taken out. Nyla then came in with a neck breaker and a single leg crab on Jade Cargill. Rosa was able to save it. We then had a table set up at ringside, and then Nyla Rose with a super kick on Rosa. And Rosa, she was about to get power bombed. Rosa slipped away from Nyla, and she power bombed Nyla through the table. She tried to get Nyla back into the ring, but Jade Cargill took a chair and hit Thunder Rosa with the chair over and over again. It did not look good, I'm telling you. Jade Cargill does not know how to fucking swing a chair. She looked completely out of her element. She did not know how to swing a chair. I'm not sure what was going on there, but it did not look good. Did not look good at all. But Jade Cargill covered Thunder Rosa after about 7 chair shots for the win. And that was pretty much that. Jade Cargill remains undefeated. Obviously, they're still high on Jade Cargill. What I would do if I was them, what I would do is I would do Thunder Rosa versus Jade Cargill, because Jade Cargill obviously needs to get some wins behind her, Thunder Rosa needs to get some wins behind her, and Jade Cargill, obviously, she needs a breakout match because she hasn't had a good match since Red Velvet. So at the end of this, I would absolutely do Thunder Rosa, Jade Cargill, and I would give Rosa the win. Build up Rosa for that inevitable match with Britt Baker at Revolution. But Jade Cargill, listen, she's coming along, but she was out of her element in that moment, swinging those chairs. It did not look good. She's got to get her shit together. But I can see Thunder Rosa being the woman to give Jade Cargill her first loss, and I can absolutely see Shida getting her 50th win, and she is inevitably going to get the match with Baker at Full Gear. But then at the end, we're going to see Britt Baker retain, and then we're going to see Thunder Rosa get built up to face off against Britt Baker at the Revolution event next year. The match participants for the Casino Ladder match were announced. It's going to be Andrade, El Idolo, Pac, Jon Moxley, Lance Archer, Orange Cassidy, and Matt Hardy with a Joker card. And Adam Page, man, he's coming back. Adam Page is going to come back. Adam Page will be the Joker card, and Adam Page is going to get that victory. And Adam Page is going on to Full Gear, and he's going to win the championship. It's Adam Page's time. Orange Cassidy versus Jack Evans, hair versus hair match. This was not a bad match. Orange Cassidy and Jack Evans are two very good pro wrestlers, but at the end of the day, this was a complete waste of time. The Hardy Family Office and the Dark Order and the Best Friends, they stood face to face, and Matt Hardy watched as Jack Evans sold the shit out of the Orange Punch, and then he got his head shaved, and then Matt Hardy and the Hardy Family Office retreated as Orange Cassidy cut off Jack Evans' ponytail, and he shaved his head. The Hardy Family Office sucks. It needs to die. Matt Hardy either needs to be solo or just with Private Party, and that's about it. It is not good whatsoever. The other tag teams need to be solo, and in the end, that was pretty much it. Orange Cassidy, he needs to move on to something bigger. If I was booking this, I would just have Orange Cassidy move on from Matt Hardy, and I would do Orange Cassidy versus Sammy Guevara at Full Gear for the TNT Championship. That was pretty much Rampage. A loaded week in professional wrestling, and we go 3 hours streaming, people. You guys have been fantastic. That wraps up the Lightning Flash update. An excellent stream, people. An excellent stream. I would like to thank each and every single one of you who tuned into this video. Like, comment, and subscribe. Please make sure you check out all the links in the description. Watch the rewind with Jay Alletto for WWE Extreme Rules 2021. Please keep your eyes peeled for any new content coming out. I will keep you guys updated. I may or may not be able to get some stuff done in the next couple weeks, specifically because I start a new job. I'll keep you guys updated, and I will let you guys know how things work out. Till next time, I'm DJ Storms. This has been the Lightning Flash Update, and I will catch you guys very, very soon. You guys all have a great evening. I'm going to get some dinner. Peace.